Everybody go to breakfast.
Now we worry about him next. I think he's just the man for you. So crazy. But you're married him.
I know holy, and I know that they can go like the Baba. So many reasons where I want to for you, my love. Now you I want to retire with my love. See all the little things you do, they make me know love. Oh no, no. This distance is taking me all of me, oh no. Baby, come closer. I want to make you closer. Girl, I want to make you closer. I feel like making you closer. No, closer. I want to make you closer. Girl, I want to make you closer. I feel like making you closer. I need you in the morning, but I need you now. Yeah, I know I gave you what you needed. I know what you like. I feel it coming. Tell me something, yes, yes. I try to need you, but I need some lessons. I need to give it all. I got to live what I got. I don't know why you're the one. Turn me out of my mind. You don't need no other body. You don't need no other body. Only you feel on my body. Only you feel on my body. Last. Now everybody go to breakfast. You go bound for the result, though. Nothing to discuss, cause I can prove I found them without any doubt, though. I'm a me, I be a dog, though. I no go feed the girl, I no go feed the girl, it's out, though. I'm a mind that's you the talk, though. I put my life into my job, and I know I'm in trouble. She manipulate my love, oh. I know holy, and I know that careful. Like the Baba cry, oh, my, oh, don't cry, oh. And people are shadow, and people are shadow, and people are shadow. I did what I got when they kill Sovoma. I did try to buy moto, Toyota Corolla. My feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Feelings been they swing like Django Lover. Now you crash your Ferrari for Why you say I did? If I do anything you want me to do, but I got you, I'm a white dog, you better suit. Why you say I did nothing for you? If I do anything you want me to do, maybe another time, maybe. Now everybody go to breakfast. I have to say bye bye yo, bye bye yo to the love of my life, my ayo. Don't cry yo, I need to go and shadow, shadow. I need to go and shadow, shadow. I need to go and shadow, shadow. I need to go and shadow, 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 shadow. I need to go and shadow, shadow. I need to go and shadow, shadow. I need to go and shadow, 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 shadow. Another banger. Make a call, make a bong, 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 make a call, make a see, but the bong, 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 your body, kakara, make a bong, 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 on a make it. Kilo fait, on m'a tête, chocolate, fine, fine, oh, bucket, watch your love for like it, why not more, chibadi, chocolate, bush lady, yeah, imade, tobado, see, kilo fait, why now, my lady, tell me where you lay up for you, I'm a tell my easy, baby, why you want to give me conceal, if you want to get out, I'ma make up my eye. I'ma need that can you. I go my eye. I'ma need that can you. Maybe, do maybe. But I'm money there. Do maybe. Maybe don't go carry belly. Maybe. Let one of me see oh yeah. Come see oh yeah, baby. Make a call, make a call, make a call, make a see, but you your body, make a call, on a make it, get it, fine, girl. Look it over there, do fine boy like this. So if I hear see want, I go vex. Okini, navia, okini, baby, okini, baby, plenty money, okini, navia, okini, baby, okini, baby, plenty money, talk market, where your motor, Messi, agbe, oh yeah, balong money, joya, shade, joya, take a holy pata, come sexy mama, follow me, come my joya. I need you in the morning, what I need you now. Yeah. I know I gave you what you needed. I know what you like. I feel it coming. Tell me something, yes, that I try to need you, but I need some last time. I need to give it all. I got to live what I thought. I don't know why you're the one. Turn me out of
One, 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 two. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me now. Let me know something. I bet you can hear me now. I had to fix my mic. But yeah, man. I don't know if y'all heard me earlier though, man. But I wanted to talk about this show. I did this show on a Friday night because I will be busy. You know what I'm saying? I will be busy. You know what I'm saying? Saturday night. It's my birthday weekend, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just turned 35 yesterday, but I'm celebrating the whole weekend. You know what I'm saying? I just came back from the circus. Took my kids to the circus. You know what I'm saying? We had a good time. And yeah, man, it's been a lot of talk about race. You know, we was talking about race even on the Carnivorous podcast. You know what I'm saying? And you know, race is not a biological reality. It's not. It's a concept. It's a racial concept. It's a caste system. It's a social construct. When I mean by social construct, I mean particular organisms, you know what I'm saying, us as human beings, you know what I'm saying, created this in our society, something that was created secondarily in our society, you know what I'm saying, to identify certain population groups, gene pools, in particular, and say this particular people, but it's not always fixated like that. It's not an absolute in science. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, "Oh, you making the waters muddy. They ain't making no waters muddy. Science is muddy waters. If you can't read through the muddy waters, stay out of the scientific conversation. Period. Period. If you ain't trying to understand the nuances and the reality of science, stay out the conversation. Go to a motherfucking towns meeting. Go to the city hall some damn where I had a conversation there. If we talking about this race shit in biology, the waters are muddy. You just have to know how to read through that water, through the murky water. You know what I'm saying? If it's clear, if the water's clear, that means you know what I'm saying. You just trying to stay in the kindergarten education. You just trying to stay in a elementary education. You're not trying to advance and be in the more concrete scientific understanding. You have to learn how to read through the muddy water. Give me just a second, y'all. I don't even get these sources together. All right, I'm back, y'all. I'm back, y'all. Y'all can hear me. What's good with it? What's good with the fam in the building? What's up with it? What's good with it? Our Sonic in the building, Gideon Blocks in the building. Appreciate it. King Sosa in the building. What's up with it? You know what I'm saying? I know there's a conversation, you know what I'm saying, that King Sosa would definitely appreciate. I'm gonna put the you know what I'm saying, this ain't, you know what I'm saying, I'm taking a break. Like next week, I might even do a Sunday. I might even do a Sunday, you know, depending on how I feel. But my next show is definitely going back in on the Bantu migrations. But this time is my birthday weekend, so I kind of want to do a special show because I'm not finna go live Saturday. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be somewhere drunk, kicking it high. You know what I'm saying? Chilling some damn where for my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Listen to some Afro beats somewhere damn where. You know what I'm saying? What's good with it, DQ? Now, let me show y'all something though, real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into the meat of this shit. Get into the meat of this shit, man. People don't understand what race is. They married, people married to these categories. I ain't married to none of these fucking categories. I know what culture I am. What culture is you? What culture is you? You know what I'm saying? When you say shit, you motherfuckers say talk about the waters being muddy. When you use race, you make the waters even muddier. You turn the water to shit when you using them type of, you know what I'm saying, category because it don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like a you use blacking for instance. You know what I'm saying? Like you use the category of black. They call Melanesians and fucking in people from Aboriginal Australia. They call them people black. But no, are they the same gene pool as West Central Africans? No. But they are categorized in this, you know what I'm saying, category with biological fallacies. You know what I'm saying? It's not a biological reality at all. Now, first, let's even see what race is in biology. Let's look up race. See, even here you have race, biology, and then you have race, human categorization. We're gonna get this the one we're gonna really get into because this is the one that people use all the time, and I'm actually gonna get into what it is that these people think they're seeing. When you see another population or another population that had a different isolation, a different, you know what I'm saying, adaptation, phenotypes, you know what I'm saying, when you look at them, they have different phenotypes, you know what I'm saying, than the next population. You know what I'm saying? That what you see it's a biological reality because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Certain populations do have physical differences. You know what I'm saying? It's not an absolute. It seems as if it's a fixed thing, but it's not always absolute. Just because it's just so that in these populations, this gene pool been, you know what I'm saying, these people been intimating and, you know what I'm saying, having sexual selection for a long period of time to form these particular traits passed on from ancestor to, you know, to descendant through these particular gene pools. And sometimes even certain gene pools have gene flow from other populations. So they can have multiple ancestors. They can have an ancestor from the nucleus population, and they can have ancestors from another population, from a gene flow population that went into this particular population. You know what I'm saying? So let me show my screen real quick. Let me show my screen real quick. I got my source up. You know what I'm saying? Even when people say, "Oh, sub-Saharan African," you know what I'm saying? Which sub-Saharan African are you? Stop being all over the place. That's muddy in the water. Which one? You know what I'm saying? You got Niger Congo people. You know what I'm saying? Like even like the Niger part. You know, Niger. You know what I'm saying? It's Latin. Was a Latin term for, you know what I'm saying, dark pigment. Not even pigment, just dark color. You know what I'm saying? Niger. Even back in the Latin form of that form, before it even became like when we say black, that's actually an English or a Germanic term. You know what I'm saying? When we say negro or Niger and things like that, later on it became actually the color black, real color black. But the original Latin term, in Latin, they had like two different words for dark coloration. They had a dull, just they call it a dull darkness, so it was not quite as dark, which is they call, I think, Felir, something like that, and Niger, which mean a greater or more brilliant dark color. Not even necessarily the color that we see today that we think of as, absent of color, we call it black today, as far as the English concept. Even that, what you see, I went to art, I went to art. I took art history. I was into art before I even switched to anthropology. I was an art major at first. I switched to anthropology. All throughout high school, I was with it. Or I was always juggling between. Even though I ain't finished either one, I was always juggling between them two subjects, art, and science. But anyway, even the color that we see as, absent the color black, that's just a darker shade of gray. The color that we call or we look at, like my shirt. It's really just a darker shade of gray. Okay. Y'all can see my screen. So you have race, biology. We're gonna get into that first. Just break that down what it even is. Even how it works in biology, even how it's not even informal. It's not even informal. It's not even formal. It's informal. It's an informal taxon. It's kind of outdated. Like when you call species races and things like that, yeah, you say it like that, yeah, but it's informal. It's not the proper, so the most current use in science like that. Since they go back to the Darwin age, when he was talking about races, he was talking about species and things of that nature. But he didn't have DNA. He didn't have certain other subject matter that we have today that we use in neo-Darwinism. You have race, human categorization. We're gonna get into that. Let's get into race biology. Break that down first. Yeah. Oh yeah. I saying you definitely, sub-Saharan. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even really married to the sub-Saharan. You know what I'm saying? Like we sub-Saharan and we, you know what I'm saying, in the Sahara. You know what I'm saying? Like Cushitic people are really Red Sea people. You know what I'm saying? They developed their cultures and gene pool that developed and solidified really around the Red Sea region. And then like us, like, Niger Congo people, we're not originally from the Central Africa. We not originally from West Africa. You know what I'm saying? The language started like Niger, like hypothesized. You know what I'm saying? Based off of hypothesized, even how the language is. You got Kadofian languages still in Sudan. Them were some type of Niger Congo languages. Or Niger Kadofian language. Niger Kadofian is the mother, it's the macro language that Niger Congo even comes from. You have Niger Congo, which is the languages that went to the West. It became the West African languages out of Proto-Niger Congo, which formed in the South Central Sahara. So you're not really sub-Saharan. Even EM2, and even the sickle cell trait. Even when you see the Tassili cave art in southern Nigeria, what you see the modern, like what you would think of West African culture. You see a particular culture, not all the art. But when you look at that round head art, those people were some type of proto Niger Congo speaking people before they migrated to the more recent or current location that they live now after the desertification of the Sahara. A lot of the Niger Congo languages spread it It spread it through like starting around 9500 BCE, in between 5500 BCE, it was spreading through West and Central Africa. It originally come from South Central, you know what I'm saying, Sahara. Even before that, it come out of Western Sudan somewhere. It traveled from Western Sudan, you know what I'm saying, these Niger Congo speakers, you know what I'm saying, modern West Africans. That's why when you look at certain articles, it say east northern Sahara people. What they mean by that? These people traveled from east somewhere, but they were east, but they were more so west of their eastern region. If you get what I'm saying, in these savannah regions, more so in the like the western part of the Sudan. Anyway, from those regions, and they migrate even more further west in the Sahara, in the South Central Sahara. You know what I'm saying, way further north. And they start migrating, you know what I'm saying, trickling down, you know what I'm saying, intermingling with these West African hunter-gatherer people that was already there. You know what I'm saying, these Middle Stone Age people. Anyway, let's get to the subject matter. In biological taxonomy, race is an informal rank in taxonomic hierarchy, for which, let's see what we mean by informal in biology. An informal group in taxonomy is a taxonomic rank that is not well defined. This is just race in biology. Even I'm just showing you, even in biology, it's not even really formal. And then we're gonna get into the social categorization. You know what I'm saying? The made up Simon Says term. You know what I'm saying? It's just a term that was made up for political reasons. You know, for you know, hierarchy or caste reasons, political and economic reasons. You know what I'm saying? These terms or these categories was created. And it also it started from the caste, from the one that we know that we live up under, the caste system, or the social the social concept or the social construction that we live up under. You know what I'm saying? Origins really started from the Spanish and Portuguese caste system. And the English just had their own little way and spin on that. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Yep. Sasana gets real. Yep. What you just said. Social is used to divide for political reasons. Yep, it is. Social is secondary. You know what I'm saying? That's not a biological reality. It's just who belongs to this spot in this society. It's like when you have a group of chimps. You have a chimp group. You know what I'm saying? Certain chimp groups don't have the same type of don't hold the same type of organization as another group. You know what I'm saying? Those secondary little rules and shit like that out of their particular hierarchy. That's kind of what race came out of. Even the reason why we do it as modern humans, because we still apes. Yeah, we still apes. Yeah, we ain't need none of that. You ain't Caucasoid. You ain't black. None of that. We can say that. We play with the term. That's, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I should say narrow features, alkaloid features. You know, alkaloid skull type. You know what I'm saying. Even that varies. All alkaline skull types ain't the same. You know what I'm saying. The alkaline skulls, the alkaline skull type in Europe, even though it's straight narrow feature, it's different. It's actually different than the East African. East Africans got their own morphology, even though it's similar, but it's its own morphology. You know what I'm saying? And then even them two morphologies, even those two similar morphology might cross breed, you know what I'm saying? Because of back migrations and all this, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. You got polymorphism, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And they say, look, in let's say in biological taxonomy, race is an informal rank in taxonomy hierarchy for which various definitions exist. Sometimes it is used to denote a level below of subspecies, while at other times it is used as a synonym for subspecies. It's not even, you know what I'm saying? Some people just use it for subspecies, use it like I guess on the demi level. And I'm gonna explain y'all what demi level is, because demis, you know what I'm saying, it's a biological term called gamodemies. And it's based on the differences you see when you look at different populations. That's why when you hear, I don't know if y'all ever heard Ngozi, you know what I'm saying? Even when we build, me and Ngozi build, we say it on the demi level. When we talking about race or something like that, you know, so we say on the demi level, this population is this, that. On the demi level in biology, is that thing that you might think of or you might mistake of as a race. I'm gonna show y'all that after I get into this. While at other times it is used as a synonym for subspecies, it has been used as a higher rank than strain, with several strains making up one race. Races may be genetically distinct populations of individuals within the same species, or they may be defined in other ways. Example, geographically or psychologically. Genetic isolation between races is not complete. See, it's not complete. But genetic differences may have accumulated, but the genetic difference may have accumulated that are not yet sufficient to separate species. It's not even a fixated like thing, like, you know what I'm saying, in biology, even when they use the term like that. Really can't really define it. You know what I'm saying? Just something that's put in. The other terms: chromosomal race, population distinction by having unique karyotype and different chromosome numbers, probably, or different chromosome structure. Geographic. So you can make anybody a fucking race. You don't even got to be what y'all think of a race today. You can be you can get people with, this is how fucking stupid race is. This is how dumb race is. You can collect all the people in the world with big ears. Just say, for instance, we're gonna collect all the people with big ass ears, and they're gonna be the bigger people. You know what I'm saying? No matter what they look like, from all over the world, big ears, all walks of life. And no matter what they look like, even people weren't even tripping off the skin color. They are tripping off ear size. All the motherfuckers that look like Martin Lawrence, you know what I'm saying, or Will Smith, or Barack Obama, you know what I'm saying, they, you know what I'm saying, or the Mad TV character, all them people gonna be the bigger people. That's what race is. You know what I'm saying? It don't even gotta be the skin color. They made it the skin color. It's the sign. It's a game. It's a straight up game. Even when we say, oh, people of color, we ain't even people of color. Everybody got a color. Everybody in the world got a color. Everybody, no matter what you is. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just, even when you say that, oh, people, that's the same. That's like using the same racial system, a categorization. You know, so these people are color, and these people just no. Everybody got a color. We gotta stop doing these things, dividing it. You know what I'm saying? Divide to me, yeah, divide. I like division by culture. My culture is distinct or something like that. And my genetics too. My gene pool, my population, the population, the nucleus population my people belong to. Even though I have gene flow too, I still I recognize the gene flow too. I ain't gonna ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Like African Americans, or I like to say U.S. African Americans, because all Africans of the diaspora in the West Hemisphere are African Americans to me, from my representation. Because America is two continents. It's actually one big ass continent because North and South America ain't really separated landmass. Like you still got Central America. Central America connect two land masses together, so it's really one big ass landmass. Just calling it two continents. If like for real, like even science, like go back and forth with that. It's like America is really big, one big ass continent. You know what I'm saying? Including with the islands. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna call the Greek or the Aegean islands, if you're gonna call them European islands, you might as well call the Caribbean islands American islands, because it's part of them continents, change. You know what I'm saying? Well, I say U.S. African Americans. I'm talking about us here in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Of the continent of America. Our nucleus culture come out of those Niger Congo people, Niger Congo speaking people. The Niger Congo population, the gene pool, it's just describing a landmass. People that speak a particular language, people that speak these particular language that's related and share a gene pool with each other that stretches from the Niger River to the Congo rivers in Central Africa. That's what it means when they first came up with the term. Yeah, like and subscribe to the channel, y'all. Get a thumbs up, share. I'm gonna put my cash up in the chat too. My cash up in the chat. Y'all want to support the channel, you know what I'm saying? Support me, show me some love for my B-Day. You know what I'm saying? That nature, you know what I'm saying? It'd be cool. I appreciate you. If not, I still appreciate you for watching and viewing and rocking out with me. You hear me? Anyway, psychological race. A group of individuals that do not necessarily differ in morphology from other members of the species, but have adapted a different local habitat, defined even by specific food source, parasite species. You know what I'm saying? See how you can mention do all, you know what I'm saying? You can do that with a social category too. It don't gotta be skin, or it don't gotta be the gene pool. Just say, oh, you know what I'm saying, these things with this particular trace is this race and that race. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get into what I was gonna say. The things that we think when we think of biological race, the things that we think is a race, you know what I'm saying, in biology, when we see differences or different phenotypes in different populations. I'll show you demis. We actually talking about gamodemies. Because demis is, you know what I'm saying, demis is a whole thing too. We got different type of demis term. Biology. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do that PayPal and post it, bro. I don't know how to post the link on PayPal on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I got PayPal, I got all that, but I gotta figure out how to post it, bro. Speak to that's a Sonic PayPal. I have to figure it out. But look here, it say in biology, we're gonna figure it out later on. Sonic, we'll figure out the PayPal thing later. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But but right here it say in biology, a demi in the strict sense is a group, is a group of individuals that belong to the same taxonomic group. You know what I'm saying? I mean the same features, you know what I'm saying? Takes on the same features, same traits, same phenotypes. You know what I'm saying? Similar phenotype. You know what I'm saying? However, when biologists and especially ecologists use the term demi, they usually refer to it as the definition of a gamodemy. That's what we talking about. A local group of individuals from the same taxon that interbreed with each other and share a gene pool. The latter definition the latter definition of a demi is the only applicable to sexual reproducing species, while the former is more neutral and also takes asexual reproduction species into account, such as certain plant species and following sections and latter and the most frequently used definition of a demi will be used. A evolutionary contribution, a quote unquote demi, often refers to any isolated subpopulation subjected to selection as a unit rather than as individuals. Don't that sound like race? Don't that sound like race? You know what I'm saying? That's in biology that you think that's what you think of race. That's what you think race is. This is the reality that you're seeing. You think it's a race, but it's really a demi level, you know what I'm saying, population groups. Okay, hold on. See, local adaptation. A population of species usually as multiple demis. Individuals between these demis can differ. Demis could therefore become locally adapted in their environment. A group of examples of this adaptive demi formation, AD, ADF, you know what I'm saying, adaptive demi formation, hypothesis in insects. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You can break that down, like you know what I'm saying. Even if you take the demi level of insects, you can break it down and make it like a race. You can say it's a race. These the races. You know what I'm saying. You do it just like that. You do it just like that. Even look right here. Primates. Just different examples. Like primates, for example, having second highest, uh, have the second highest speciation rate among mammals, with one speciation, even pure lineage, every 3 million years. However, not all primate species have a high speciation rate. This reflection in the demi size in the social structure. Guineans, Cereopithecus, you know what I'm saying, which is old, you know what I'm saying, so-called old world monkeys, for examples, have together in small polygamous troops and are a quite diverse genius. On the other hand, baboons, papyrus, scientific name, baboons, have a much lower speciation rate. Baboons have a larger demi size because they live in polygynous. I'm sorry, because they live. I said earlier. Small polygynous troops, but let's say but the baboons, they live in polygynous multi male troops. These baboon demis are usually allo allopatric allopatric, but gene flow still exists between demis with hybridization being common. So like demis like mean like you know what I'm saying like how you did had like a race or something. You know what I'm saying between baboon populations. You might hear it say various populations of gorillas can be understood by geographical separation. Even though it's the same species, they have differences about you know what I'm saying the geographical separation. Same way a Chinese man and a man from India, you know what I'm saying, got different, you know what I'm saying. They both human, same species, but geographically separation, they differ, you know what I'm saying, on certain levels, on the demi level. They say various populations of gorillas can be understood by their geographical separation and have been assisted to determine distinct and disjointed gene pools. The polar bear, Ursulus martimus, is understood to have 19 identifiable demis, even though their circumpolar distribution allows some interchange among the demis. See, they had like shit. If fucking polar bears use race categories, they had 19 of them. That's basically what they just said. You know what I'm saying? They had 19 of them. What's good with it, Garfield? What's good with it? Population genetics. Let's get into the social category. Let's see when the social categorization was created by human beings. It's not a social it's not a me, it's not a it's a social reality. It's not a biological reality whatsoever. I'm not married to the term black. I'm not married to the term white. I don't have to use them terms. I don't have to. You don't have to. I don't have to. I could break it down by population. You know what I'm saying? I do, colloquially, of course, you know what I'm saying? Because people, what people understanding is in society. That's why science is counterintuitive. That's why we say that it's counterintuitive. Everybody ain't gonna get it. People just gonna live in a truth. Right? Human race and human categorization. Race is a categorization of humans based on sharing physical or social qualities into groups generally viewed as distinct within a given society. The term came into common usage during the 16th century when it was used to refer to groups of various kinds, including those categorized by close kinship relations. By close kinship relations. Look, by the 17th century, the term became to refer to physical phenotypical traits, and then later to national affiliation. Like some people think they think like it'll become like race change. This shit, that's some bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a game. Just like people will say, oh, the Puerto Ricans and all that. That ain't no race. Really. They say people think it's a race. But you know what I'm saying? We say, oh, them the Puerto Ricans, that's a nationality. You got different ethnic groups in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Ricans ain't just one they not a monolith. They ain't just one group. Even when you say Jamaicans, you know what I'm saying? You got different Jamaicans. Yeah, the majority of Jamaicans are, you know what I'm saying, Niger Congo descended people. But you got white, you know, so you got European Jamaicans, you got Chinese Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? And they say by the 17th century, the term began to refer to physical phenotypical traits, and then later to national affiliations. Modern science regards race as a social construct and an identity which is assigned based on rules made by society. The same way a chimp group can make certain rules amongst their society. The same thing, we the same apes. We just made this shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's not a biological reality. Uh, and they say while partially based on physical similarities within groups, race does not have an inherent physical or biological meaning. Let me say that again for Chef and Corey. While partially based on physical similarities within groups, race does not have an inherent physical or biological meaning. The concept of race is foundational to racism or racialization. The people that use race are using racialization or racialism. Racism comes out of racialism. Racialism doesn't necessarily mean you're racist, but it means you use race in your social views. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. That's what that be. And look, it say the concept of race is foundational to racism. The belief that humans can be divided based on superiority or one race over another. You know what I'm saying? Chef and Corby, they're not racist. They don't practice racism, but they are racialists. They practice racialism, not racism, but racialism. Yeah. I'm gonna add people to the chat. I mean to the we want to add, just join the panel too. You say welcome to too. It's an open discussion. We just building. This ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Anybody got anything to add, they can add it too. You know what I'm saying? We just building. We just gonna go through the sources. See, all right. Even I hear you say, yeah, right here say social conceptions of groupings of race have varied over time, often involving folk taxonomies that define essential types of individuals based on perceived traits. So what you think what's going on, but it ain't real. And modern scientists consider such biological essentialism obsolete. You hear that, Corey? You hear that, Chef? Modern science considers such biological essentialism obsolete and generally discourage racial explanation or collective differentiation in both physical and behavioral traits. Open up the floor. See, add to the flow. Yeah, anybody can come, anybody can join in if y'all want to, but yeah, we are just gonna go in. But even though there is a broad scientific agreement that essentialist and typological conceptions of race are untenable, scientists around the world continue to conceptualize race in a wider, different ways. While some researchers continue to use the concept of race to make distinctions among fuzzy sets of traits of observable differences in behavior. Race muddies the water. See how they say among fuzzy sets of traits of observable differences in behavior. Others in the scientific community suggest that the idea of race is inherited naive or simplistic. Still, others argue that among humans, race has no taxonomic significance because all living humans belong to the same subspecies, Homo sapiens sapiens. So they don't have no significance. They are demis. You're looking at the demi level. You're confusing yourself. You're confusing your simplistic brain or your naive brain to think racism is something that's a real thing. They think it's a real thing. They think they're really real. You know how they say? They think they really real. You're not really real. Thinking of some social concepts. Playing games. You're playing monkey games. That's what you're doing. You're playing 8 social hierarchy monkey games when you racialist. You know, it ain't wrong with it. You know, we apes. That's what we are. But just reckon this had it in your head. You playing the monkey game. You know what I'm saying? It's just the monkey tribalism, ape tribalism. You know what I'm saying? And they say, since the second half of the 20th century, race has been associated with uh, discredited theories of scientific racism and has become increasingly seen as largely pseudo-scientific system of classification. Let me say that again. Since the second half of the 20th century, race has been associated with discredited theories of scientific racism and has become increasingly seen as largely pseudo-scientific system of classification. Although still used in general context, race has often been replaced by less ambiguous and or loaded terms, populations, peoples, ethnic groups, or communities, defining on context. You don't have to say race. It is used in genetics as the formally renounced by the U.S. National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine in 2023. Update your shit, Corey Chef. This ain't a barbershop. This ain't no barbershop conversation. This is a scientific conversation. Anyway, yeah, this ain't the barbershop conversation. It's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Race is pseudo-scientific. Race is that's what I should have named the show. Race is pseudo-scientific, yo. What's good with it, bro? Look, show y'all something, right? Show y'all how this race shit is bullshit. Look, modern scholarship use racial categories as social constructs. That's why you can't say, you, it's just y'all keep saying it's just a social construct. It really is, motherfucker. What you talking about? It's bullshit. It's a monkey game that we made up. It's a monkey game shit. You say modern scholarship views social categories as I was good with it. This was good with it, our son. Where it say modern scholarship views social categories as racial categories as socially constructed. That is, race is not intrinsic to human beings,
Peace, my brother.
but rather an identified identity created, often by social dominant groups, to establish meaning in a social context.
Well, I hope you can hear me. I'm on two different speakers.
Oh yeah, I just heard one. I just heard one thing.
No, for my end, I'm listening to the stream and also on a different. I have multiple mics, and one day I hope I can show you, but I'm not gonna cut you off. Keep cooking.
All right, all right. And it say different cultures define different racial groups, often focused on the largest group of social relevance, and thus definitions can change over time. Historical race concept. I want to get into that article too. Historical race concept. And this might be this show tonight on Friday. This might just be the beginning of my, you know what I'm saying? You're just gonna talk about random, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna think a name of the segment. We're just gonna talk about random, you know what I'm saying, scientific, biological. You know what I'm saying? Concept. I really want to get into taxonomies, taxiforms, break down what's related to what, biology, break that down. Just have fun with that. You know what I'm saying? Even we might just started off with race and all the shit, the fallacies of that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, uh, historical race concepts have included a wide variety of schemes to divide local and worldwide populations into races and subraces. Across the world, different organizations and societies chose to disambiguate race to different extents. These dudes don't be reading this. They don't read for real, bro. They just be talking. Motherfuckers just be yapping. And look, in South Africa, the Population Registration Act 1950 recognized only white, black, and colored, with Indians added later. Government of Manoa recognized 8 major national ethnic races. See, like, even in certain countries, you only got particular thing they consider as a race. Some made up shit, census shit. You know what I'm saying? Political. Look, even where it's a legal definition of whiteness in the United States is used before the civil rights movement were often challenged for Pacific groups. Therefore, the United States Census Bureau proposed, but then withdrew plans to add a new category to classify Middle Eastern or North African peoples in 2020 U.S. Census due to dispute over whether its classification would be considered a white ethnicity or a separate race. You know, because this is bullshit. They ain't the same people as European. You know what I'm saying? As European Americans and shit. You already say, according to geneticists. Hold on, I'm gonna go over real quick. Go and read this. Look, the establishment of racial boundaries often involves subjugation of groups defined as racially inferior, as one drop rule used in the 19th century United States to include those with any amount of African ancestry from the dominant racial groupings defined as quote unquote white. Such racial identities reflect the cultural attitudes of imperial power dominant during the age of European colonial expansion. Thus, this view rejects the notion that race is biologically defined. You know what I'm saying? And it say, according to geneticist David Wright, while race may be a social construct, differences in genetic ancestry that happen to correlate in many of today's racial constructs are real. So they are real. So like I said, that's the demi level. You know what I'm saying? The differences that you see in the genetic ancestry of different people and populations and communities. You know what I'm saying? And they say in response to rape, a group of 67 scientists from a broad range of disciplines wrote that his concept of race was flawed. So he had, so he said he had a concept, he must have some other views, you know what I'm saying? His concept of race was a little flawed. And they say, as the meaning of significance of the groups is produced through social intervention. Say the meaning and significance of the groups is produced through social. Okay, so they say he is wrong. I thought he was talking about like on a demi level, but he must be talking about some whole other like racist, real shit type shit. You know what I'm saying? And they say uh uh common although commonalities of physical traits such as facial features, skin color, and hair texture comprise part of race concept. This linkage is a social distinction rather than an inherently biological one. Other dimensions of racial groups include shared history, traditions, and language. For instance, African American English is a language spoken by many African Americans. See that you see how even Chief X, you guys got beat up right there. Yeah, we speak English, but we speak African American English. It's a difference, it's a whole different category, a whole different subcategory of English, which is Niger Congo based, Niger Congo grammar based. And they say, especially in areas of the United States where racial segregation existed, there therefore people often self-identify as members of a race for political reasons. Yeah. And they say when people define and talk about particular conceptions of race, they create a social reality through which social categorization is achieved. In this sense, races are said to be social constructs. These constructs develop within various legal, economic, and social political contexts, and may be the effects rather than the cause of major social situations. They say while race is understood to be social construct by many, most scholars agree with the race as real material effects in lives of people through institutionalized practices or preferences of in discrimination. They say it's citation needed for that statement. Right here, say, go up a bit, down too far. Right here, say social economic factors in combination with early but enduring views of race have led to considerable suffering with disadvantaged racial groups. Racial discrimination often coincides with racist mindsets, thereby the individual and ideologies of one group come to perceive the members of an outgroup as both racially defined and morally inferior. As a result, a racial group composes relatively little power often find themselves excluded or oppressed, while uh, hegemonic individuals and institutions are charged with holding racist attitudes. Racism has led to many instances of tragedy, including slavery and genocide. Historical origins of racial classification. You might hear say uh, groups. It say groups of humans often always identify themselves as distinct from neighboring groups, but such differences have not always been understood to be neutral, immutable, and global. These features are the distinguishing feature of how the concept of race is used today. In this way, the idea of race as we understand in today came about during the historical process of exploration and conquest, which brought Europeans into contact with groups with different from different continents and of ideologic, idol, uh, ideologically of classifications typology found in natural sciences. The term race has often used in general biological taxonomic sense, I mean, what I discussed earlier, starting from the 19th century to denote genealogical differentiated human population defined by a phenotype. They say modern concept of race emerged as a I might do a part two of this show too. There's a lot of shit to cover on this shit. Gotta do some overkill. You know what I'm saying? I heard say the modern concept of race a emerged as a product of colonial enterprises of European powers from the 16th to the 18th centuries, which identified race in terms of skin color and physical differences. So y'all niggas fucking with some 16th, 18th century shit. And they say Arthur Rebecca F. Kennedy argues that Greeks and Romans would have found such concepts confusing in relations to their own systems of classification. According to Banzel, the epistological uh, moment where the modern concept of race was invented and rationalized lies somewhere between 1730 and 1790. Where he say, see, you heard him say the three great races according to Mayer's conversation Lux in 1885, 1900. It was like got like the Mongoloid, Caucasoid and all that shit, Negroid, all the other bullshit, old outdated ass shit. Negroid is an obsolete racial grouping of various people indigenous to Africa, south of area which stretch from southern Sahara Desert. So we don't use that. We don't use that bullshit no more. We don't use bullshit like Negroid, Caucasoid. We don't gotta use that shit. That's for the ignorant motherfucker. That's for the kindergartners. That's for the kindergartners like Chief X, Corey, and Chef. It's for the kindergarten class. This ain't the kindergarten class. They want to read the clear water. We read through the muddy waters. This the advanced class. We ain't in kindergarten. We ain't in remedial class. And it say colonization. According to Smilady and Marx, the European concept of race, along with many of the ideas now associated with the term, arose at the time of scientific revolution. It's like doing what's that? Yeah, it's like doing probably like the 18. No, that's not like not the 18, probably like the 17, 16, 1600s. Right here say, yeah, it's a scientific revolution. Oh shit. Yeah, it's on the 1500s. Scientific revolution was a series of events that marked the emergence of modern science during the early modern period when developments in mathematics, physics, astronomy, biology, including human anatomy, and chemistry transformed the views of society about nature. The scientific revolution took place in Europe in the second half of the Renaissance period, with the 1543 Nicholas uh, uh, Copernicus publication, The Revolutionist Imperium Kala System. That's what I mean by the that's what I mean by the I'm saying, the scientific revolution. That's what we mean by that. And right here say okay, it say in which introduced the privileged study of natural kinds in age of European imperialism and peoples with distinct cultural and political traditions. As European encountered people from different parts of the world, they specialize about the physical, social, and cultural differences among various human groups. The rise of Atlantic slave trade, which gradually replaced an earlier trade in slaves throughout the world, created a further incentive to categorize human groups in order to justify the sub orientation of African slaves. That's what black is. That's what being black is right there. And that's what Corey and them niggas proud of. They proud, they black and proud of that shit. I see beyond that bullshit. Look, the rise of the Atlantic slave trade, which gradually displaced an earlier trade in slaves from throughout the world, create a further incentive to categorize human groups in order to justify a sub-orientation of African slaves. That's your black. That's your black American. That's what niggas proud of.
Can I please say something?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this. What you just said right now nails it.
Yeah.
It like, um, no matter how I can say this, sometimes I yell, this is pseudo, we shouldn't be using this terminology, we need to upgrade ourselves. But you just nailed it. And the thing is, I'm cool with both guys and I agree with them for the most part when they're going against other people.
Yeah.
But I'm a person who looks in the mirror and I'm always trying to grow. Every single
Yeah.
day I call myself out. I have to call my brothers out for this one. You just nailed it.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is this, I'm gonna let you keep cooking, but on Discord I shared two photos with you.
Okay.
My reason is this. I shared this photos with you before, but if you want to pull that up, you can so other people can see it.
Let me see.
What these photos do is it destroys the whole racism idea.
Oh yeah.
Um, and the thing is, you're gonna understand when I say this, but others won't get this for the most part. Robert went crazy on Smash's channel the other day, thinking that he had something. And he tried to remove North Africans by using certain population groups
Yeah.
and also using, oh, and modern day wise, they would have been considered black. But the thing is, if you look at who they are today, they still match that. They
Yeah.
can, they can be dark skinned, their phenotype is different, their population group is different. But once we don't understand the people groupings, it just shows the fact that we've been fooled by outsiders and
Yeah.
divided. So we're still being divided and conquered in Africa. And I'm gonna say this, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for African Americans like Gullah and Ngozi who helped me grow personally. And I hope the skills that they've given me, I can give to the people who still live in the Horn of Africa.
Oh yeah.
That's
Hey,
all
no,
I'm gonna say.
most
But
definitely.
bro, thank you. You just nailed it right now. Like daggers. Like, bro, uh, I didn't do justice last weekend when I spoke to you, but I want to say this. I know
Yeah.
how to grow on social media. I'm connected to certain people, but at the same
Okay.
time, I moved myself away from the gaming community. I'm in a
Yeah.
different social group. I want you to connect with certain people and let people know how skilled you are, because once they see how amazing you are, you're gonna blow up.
Oh yeah, right on, bro. Right on, bro. Just, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad you helping me on this journey, man. Appreciate that, bro. Real. And it say, let me get back to this. Right here, look right here say it right here say drawing on sources from classical antiquity and upon their own internal interactions. See, they saying this was what the Europeans during this time period was doing. You know what I'm saying? European exploration, you know what I'm saying? These people from, you know what I'm saying, from the Middle Ages, Renaissance ages, you know what I'm saying, the age of, scientific revolution and all that time period. And they say, people were very pseudo during this time too. Even though you did have scientific discoveries a lot during this time, but at the same time, a lot of people were pseudo too. A lot of that scientific work been added on to. And they say sources from drawn on sources from classical antiquity and upon their internal interactions. For example, the hostility between English and Irish powerfully influenced early European thinking about the differences. What's good with it, Sosa? Where it say drawn on the sources from classical antiquity. You know what I'm saying? With classical antiquity, they talking about like, from the Romans and Greeks. You know what I'm saying? Upon their own interactions. For example, the hostility between English and Irish powerfully influenced early European thinking about differences between people. Europeans began to sort themselves and others into groups based on physical appearance and to attribute to the individuals belonging to these groups behaviors and capacities which were claimed to be deeply ingrained. A set of folk beliefs took hold that linked inherited physical differences between groups and inherited intellectual behavior and moral qualities. Similar ideas can be found in other cultures. For example, in China, where a concept often translated as quote unquote race was associated with the supposed common descent from the Yellow Emperor and used to stress the unity of ethnic groups in China. Brutal conflicts between ethnic groups have existed throughout history and across the world. Right, you got early text. It's the old shit right here. What races used to be. You know what I'm saying? With the you know what I'm saying the John with the Joanne Blumenbach. You know what I'm saying? Blumenbach shit. They had all the Negroid and Ethiopian race and all the different categories of that shit. They don't even know about that shit. They want to still use race. This is the real shit right here. They think race is just the one drop rule. United States shit. It's whole levels to this shit, man. Where here say the early taxonomic models. Early taxonomic models. The first post uh the first post Greco-Roman published classifications of humans into distinct races seems to be uh, Francisco Bernier's Nouvelle Division de la Terre par les différentes species or races, and it's a new division. Oh, this must be French. It's a new divisions of Earth by the different species of races which inhibited. Published in 1684. Damn. And it say in the 18th century, which is what, the 1700s. Yeah, the 18th century was the 1700s. The differences among humans groups became a focus of scientific investigation. They've been tripping off this shit more. All this shit recent, man. How motherfuckers look at each other and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Gilla, you're killing me tonight, bro. Um, I have to say this first. So, peace, my brother. What has my avatar as Sosa has his? Um, the thing is, race has changed over time. I'm not American. The thing is, I can understand the one drop rule. And sometimes I'm gonna agree with it because I want to claim people. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
As Gala, I don't know if you're paying attention right now, but the Kendrick and the Drake war is happening.
yeah.
Um, I want to claim Drake as a black man, even though he's 50-50.
I mean, he is. He got Magic Congo with him. He Creole. He
But
Creole.
but it's 50-50. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it don't matter, bro. I
They,
mean, shit.
they're claiming him too.
Somalia is a 60-40.
But oh, come on, you just hurt me, man. The thing is, bro, I'm gonna say this to you. We're ancient and we lived in Africa and sub-Saharan for a long time, so we can claim black. He has a parent from Europe in the
He
last.
claimed black too. He won drop. If you want to play the game, if you want to play that game, if you want to play the Simon Says game,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yo, Gala, this is my gun right now, okay? It's a let's play this game. I'm more black than him, okay? I'm more black than him.
I don't know, man. And
I'm
then you don't,
sub-Saharan.
and then you don't know, you don't know the African descendant ancestors that his mother may have.
Oh, you got me there. But the thing is,
Remember, Barack Obama African American ancestry come through his mother's side, not through his daddy's side.
no, 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 no. Let me get you there. His mother is African American. Okay, she's American white. His dad is black African.
I know,
Let me hit you hard right now.
he got his African American ancestry from his mama's side.
Who's white?
Yeah,
Right. Like Drake mama could be white, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have any African American ancestry. Like she
yeah,
may be 80% 80% European and 20% African American.
So why you
yeah.
gotta shoot me like this, man?
Yeah. Obama. Oh, watch this. Watch this. Obama is a descendant of John Punch through his mama's side.
Bruh. Okay, check this out. Let me go. Okay, hold on. Where's my gun at? Yo, mouse, turn on. Okay, check this out. Okay, when you check Obama out, he's gonna have a paternal line that goes back to Africa. Paternal line, the white
Yeah,
DNA.
that's the luau. The luau people. The luau people don't got nothing to do with us. Them the luau people.
But that's
Them a
Obama.
lot of people. They wasn't victims of transatlantic slave trade.
But Obama's paternal line, the white DNA, comes from a man who comes from Africa. The maternal line, who is just half of him, who his daughter is not gonna inherit, the wife is gonna inherit. So when you look at his kids, the daughters,
Yeah,
they're
but
not
his
gonna they're not
but
gonna
you
have
don't
his.
but you don't know his mama, daddy probably was a descendant of John Punch. His mama, daddy probably had a African wild marker.
Why you guys using nukes?
Still look like a European dude.
Okay, let me put away my gun. Where's my bow and arrow? Because I'm getting my ass kicked right now.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna touch on this tomorrow when I go live. I gotta get Corey for the black kidneys. You need only African American kidneys to work. I gotta get it for that.
Oh yeah. You gotta beat them up on that.
Sure,
These dudes don't understand what it is. They like crazy. They don't read this stuff for something. Even right here, here's John Punch, Sonic. Look, John Punch.
I'm gonna touch on David Wright too, because David Wright. I like David Wright, bro. I do.
Oh yeah.
But I got to touch on it. What are you talking about?
Okay. Even right here, it say John Punch, born 1605, was an enslaved African who lived in the colony of Virginia, thought to have been an indentured servant. So he was part of like some of what they call the first 20. You know what I'm saying? The first 20 that came out that Dutch ship. And they say Punch attempted to escape to Maryland and was sentenced in July 1640 by Virginia Governor Council to serve as a slave for the remainder of his life. 2 European men who ran away with him received a lighter sentence to extend the indentured servitude. So they wasn't even chattel slavery at this time. They didn't have chattel slavery at the early time in the British colonies. They made them first 20 Africans that they got from that Dutch ship. They turned them to like ditch servants, and they gained land and all that later on. And they say, John Punch, he was actually the first African though to be enslaved,
lifelong slavery.
For life, or whatever. And they say, for this reason, some historians consider John Punch as the first official slave in English colonies, and his case is the first legal sanctioning of lifelong slavery in the Chesapeake. Some historians also consider this to be one of the first legal distinctions between Europeans and Africans made in the colony, and a key milestone in the development of institution of slavery in the United States. Let me say right here, June 2012, Ancestry.com published a paper suggesting that John Punch was the 25th generation grandfather. So this through his mother's daddy side. Grandfather of U.S. President Barack Obama on his mother's side, based on historical and genealogical research and Y analysis. Punch's descendants were known as Punch and Butch and Butchie surname. Punch is also believed to be one of the parental ancestors of 20th
20th century American diplomat Robert Bunchy.
Oh yeah, Robert Bunch, yeah.
Yeah, Robert Bunchy.
Robert Bunchy, okay. Yeah, you see what I'm saying, Sonic?
Yeah, he looked white.
Yeah.
You got to use nukes against me tonight, huh?
Yeah, right. What is it?
You know Theodore Rowe? That's all this race shit. That's all this race shit some bullshit. Look,
Native American dude.
No, Theodore Rowe. Theodore Rowe was
You talking about Theodore Roosevelt?
No, Let me show you.
But while you search him up, I'm gonna say this to you. When I figured out this race stuff is bullshit, is this to you, and you're gonna understand this. Let me keep it simple as possible.
Theodore Ross.
Yeah, Theodore Rowe was a. I'm gonna show you. You can't see him on. They don't got a picture of him on Wiki, but he was a black Chicago gangster. He got killed by.
I thought you said Theodore Ross.
No, Theodore Teddy Rowe. They call him Teddy Rowe.
He looked like a white boy. Yeah, they show him all the time. Like a white boy.
Yeah, was an African American organized crime figure who led the illegal gambling empire in South Chicago. He got killed by Sam Giancana.
They got his face on there. You see his face.
I don't think they got it on the Facebook. On the Facebook, they used to have it on here though.
I've seen it on. I've seen a picture of his face though.
They don't got it on the wiki. They used to have it on here though.
Probably,
Right here. Look, it say sometime after that, it's like he from Louisiana, of course. You know what I'm saying? It say as a child he received no formal education and even was even he was of age and he had odd jobs of tailor and learned how to sew. Sometime after that he got involved in bootlegging and gained notorious reputation as a colorful racketeer who could pass as white. You know what I'm saying? But he still, you know what I'm saying? He probably still had himself like an African American, talk the talk, all this shit. You know what I'm saying? He probably talk with an African American vernacular and all this type of shit. Shit, I know real white boys from like St. Louis that's like, you know, they grew up in the hood. They got African American vernaculars and all this shit. They not trying to talk like that, none of this shit. They grew up right, gang bang and
yeah, white boys
gang
like
bang and all this
white boys like that everywhere, bro. I met them in Charleston, I was from. I met them in Atlanta, everywhere.
Even the I think yeah, we Juju knew we talking about that. Even the white southern accent, they got that from sucking on the titty of nanny of their nannies and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, when you say that, let me just say something right now. What's the guy called? He was with Stephen A. Smith, the white guy.
Which one is he? The sports guy?
Yeah, the sports guy, the basketball guy.
JJ Redick?
No, none. He's older. He's older white guy.
Mad Dog?
No, damn, I forgot his name. There's this guy who used to be with Stephen A. Smith back in the day. And then he was with yes, Skip Bayless, bro. Do you know that he had a black nanny take care of him, and he brags about that?
Yeah, he told us that. Yeah.
So when Gilla just said
you
right
gotta
now,
understand how old doggone Skip Bayless is. That's probably normal. I'm like what?
Look at this. Look at this.
70 years
Sonic.
old?
This
Yeah.
still do a roll. Son, this still do a roll.
That's a white man.
Nah, he black and he proud, brother.
No, he be KKK, man.
He black and he proud.
KKK, whatever the gang sign is for the KKK.
Look, this him and his partners. He hung with the brothers. Like he was a brother. Like he was one of them. Light skin. He light skin. He had that's what you call high yellow right there.
Bro.
Red boy. They call him that's what you call a red boy.
DQ Skip Bayless, bro. Thank you. But I will say this, Gullah, you will understand when I say this. When I saw this racist, black, white, whatever the hell thing you call it, when I saw it as to be bullshit, as learning in the Western world, when I realized that my people were considered black Caucasoids, I was like, fuck this. It's all a game to the white people.
Yeah. Look at him in court. Look at the dude in court.
I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, bro.
Right there. You can tell he's black, right? He got a little swag right there. Look at
him. What type of race concept do they have in Somalia?
Okay.
Well, how they label y'all?
I'm gonna say this. If any Somali people are watching, forgive me. I'm a realist, and the thing is, I want to unite with my people, so I'm gonna be real with you, Sosa. In Somalia, we are not where you are today in the Western world. We are still in that racist mindset. So therefore, we don't have, let's say, the N word, but we have other words to differentiate ourselves from people who are from Central and West Africa. For example, when the Bantu expansion happened, Gullah understands this. When the Bantu expansion happened, the people who reached our area, we went to war with them for the land because they were taking over areas.
Right. Oh, natural. Right.
We're both dark-skinned. However, we found a way to differentiate ourselves, go to war with them, separate ourselves, enslave them,
Look,
and sell
we
them in the
know.
trans-Saharan slave trade.
What
Look,
name?
we know about this article, right? Like Unc always he bring this up, but he don't like he bring it up, but he'll show the beginning of it. But so we gotta really go into this. Or I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it on another show, but I'm gonna show this for right now, though.
I want to know what names though. I want to like what names do y'all use?
Hold on, watch this.
I'll share it with you, bro.
It's on here. Categories at here we go.
You have me sharing family secrets, so.
Yeah, we want to know, man. No. Every person I talk to on the continent, I want to know what they
Look, Northeastern Africa.
what their racial thing was like. You know what I'm saying?
Look.
No problem. Let them share the
Look.
stuff, and I'll share anything else that's in detail.
Look, in Ethiopia and Somalia, the slave classes mainly consist of captured peoples from Sudanese, Ethiopian, and Kenyan Somali international borders. And they say, or other surrounding areas of Nilotic and Bantu peoples who were collectively known as Shakela and Adoni. And they say both analogies to quote unquote Negro in English speaking context. Some of these slaves were captured during the territorial conflicts in the Horn of Africa and then sold off as slave merchants. These a lot of these people. These are the people that were sold like to the Swahili coast and people into Asia and all this shit too. And they say the earliest river. Oh shit, street Sufi in the building.
What you call him, Shankella? So you'll call him Shanquella? Shankella?
Yeah, it's a whole article about it. That's what most of them was Nilo-Saharan. You know
I want to hear from my Sonic personally.
Sosa.
You my primary. You the primary.
Can I say something, bro?
Come on, man. Come on now. Tell me what it is.
And guess what? And guess what too? Remember Robert Brown show was showing up 4 people, right?
Man, I didn't watch no Robert Brown.
Yeah, Robert Brown is a clown, man.
I didn't watch none of that
Somalians are one of the groups or closest to the Afar. They language are even similar. Like they in the same language group. The Soho, the Afar, and the Somali are very close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't watch none of that.
The Oromo. Sosa, can I say something? Yeah. I will say this right now. Street Sufi entered the building. Not only is he amazing at genetics part, Gala is material culture, but I really want Street Sufi to share this because he understands the terminology of my language and he's from where you're from. So whatever he says right now, I agree with him. So the thing is,
I did use Shangala. Shangala.
Shangala, sure. Shangala. But the thing is, Street Sufi can share even other words with you, and I agree with him 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm not kidding right now. I'm gonna let him speak. I'm gonna let him speak.
Hold on, let me finish this stuff. I was good with it, bro.
Peace and love to the panel. How y'all doing? I'm working out, bro. So I just was listening to y'all as y'all was going in. I was running. How y'all feeling?
Was good with it. Everything good. It's like I was telling Chief X. Chief X like, come on, yeah, I talked in Ngozi. I said, yeah, I've been talking in Ngozi for the last fucking 16 years, nigga. What you talking about? I said, yeah, Ngozi, we claim black politically, but we know that black shit is some bullshit. It's a monkey ape game. So
yeah.
We play, we made up. People in the categories.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why I always say on the shows that I use black sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to. Black is not a reality. It's not a reality biologically.
Because science is, you know what I'm saying? What they say? Science is fucking what Uncle always say shit.
What, counterintuitive?
Yeah, counterintuitive. Yeah, science is counterintuitive. Everybody ain't gonna get the shit.
Yeah, but I think that the only thing is there shouldn't be a line drawn because we know biologically race does not exist. But one thing that we have to accept is adaptations and mutations that's unique based off populations.
Oh yeah.
So for example, so when certain people hear, when we just blur the line and say black and white don't exist, even though we do know us all on here that black and white is a social construct and it's not a reality biologically, but politically it is. So when a person think of a black African,
right? Even though there is no such thing as a black African in the sense of biology. But when we think about a black African, it's mainly based off populations that's tropical adapted. Those equatorial Africans south of the Sahara, right? So we can't really blur the line and say, okay, well, the Nigerian isn't black. From a social construct, when Nigerians go to the UK or any other population or group that comes from so-called sub-Saharan Africa, they're classified as black because they're tropical adapted compared to populations in North Africa, even though they can also be tropical adapted, but their body breath may be different and they have distinct clines from populations that we descend from. So from a political angle, like me and Gullah said, hell no. Like in reality, no. We wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm black, but it depends on the audience or the people that I'm talking to, and people don't get that. You get what I'm trying to say? Just like my brother,
we tried to explain
brother.
that the other night. We tried to explain that whole shit the other night.
We tried to explain it the other night. Just like Awa Sonic, right? Awa Sonic is my brother, and my brother is Somali. Now, back home where he's from, he wouldn't be classified. There's a delineation between populations that's near his people, regardless of the clan or the Kabyle or whatever you want to call it. But the Somali understands what an ethnical Somali is compared to other groups that surrounded by him, and they draw the line. People make Africa like it's a kumbaya place, and everybody is like, yeah, it's just green grass. No, that shit only matters to us over here because we was packaged in a situation where we had no other choice but to identify or accept this terminology called black, especially when black in its inception started off with a negative content when they talked about us and called us that. We turned the negative to the positive and made black power, black empowerment, and turned what was ugly into something beautiful because we was already rejected, opposed to the identity of this class called white. But in Africa, especially places that we come from in so-called sub-Saharan Africa, everybody looked the same. So why would black matter between a Senegalese man and a Nigerian man and a Wolof man? Yeah. So it's real tricky. So now there has been a creolization of African Americans. We are part of not just creolization with integration of Northwestern European DNA, but even a hybrid cultural society that we come from. So the creolization creates a distinct population where African Americans can have multiple looks. You can, like you guys are showing the brother that was a gangster from Chicago, and we consider niggas like that red amongst us, yet and still they still identify as black. But looking at this guy morphologically, just like Clayton Powell, who was the mayor of New York, morphologically, would they really be classified as this banner as black, even though we have to accept it because according to the American standards, one drop rule, one drop of blood, you black. I mean, it's kind of like tricky when you had niggas that was amongst us who was probably only 52% sub-Saharan African. The average biracial black American, if you want to call yourself that, is mainly European or West African because African Americans are not even 100% African. So you get a black man that's 70% sub-Saharan African or 80% sub-Saharan African and mixed with a European.
80%, right.
So niggas like Drake is a Canadian biracial. When I'm saying J. Cole might only be 48% sub-Saharan African to 47%. I don't know what his dad's percentage is, but his mother's a complete European, and Europeans within this country that makes up the majority have a higher standard of a unique cluster. You know, it's crazy.
And I'm saying too, sometimes the African might be added on from whatever she got too. She probably got a little bit.
And that's true, like Obama's mother, Obama's mother. So the race, it gets real stupid.
Listen, and you know the reason I don't like to transport black outside of America, right? I understand us identifying with it on a political scale, right?
Right.
What you want to do, but like, there's no way. And it's the same thing. I make the argument with Egypt that a human would look at his skin and think that his skin is black, the color black. It wouldn't make sense. It makes sense to us because of the construct that we're in. But anybody, a person would say maybe brown, right? You're not going to think I'm black.
Even them Nilotic people, them Dinka people, they're not black. They like cocoa bean brown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Gala, bro.
They can stand next to something black and go, hold on, I ain't that. I ain't black. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it gets real. No one should really be from reality. No one should be described based off what they look like or the color of their skin, and you classify yourself as they're like that's just you. No, there is no such thing as race. For real, it's not. And I think that the more scientifically literate we become, the more we can reject those ideas because they're only ideas and they are social constructs. But when you look at the idea of black from a white standard economically, and I'm just being honest. It has a lot of low standards in the economic bracket. When you see this category called black and how it was set, right? So I don't think no one, even though we turned it into something positive, but in reality, I don't think that people should be basing their identity based off a so-called idea of what a skin complexion is, and when in reality, nobody's really black if you understand melanin, if you understand how
Especially when
your melanin works.
especially when you don't have to. Especially when you
No.
already got your groups, you know your groups. You don't do that. Don't like we forced to do this, bro. You know what I'm
We
saying?
forced to do it.
Yeah.
We
That's why I say biologically, we all people of color. People from Europe, people from Africa, people from Asia, we all people of color. We all humans are different, are colorful creatures.
Correct.
Can I jump in for a sec?
Go ahead, Aki.
Okay. Street Sufi, you know I'm here to learn, right?
Yes.
But for the most part, what I'm going to say is this: from the lens of global wise, the African Americans were labeled as black from a European standpoint for geopolitical reasons.
Yes.
Yes. And if you extend that, the people they came from West and Central Africa would be considered the black people.
Yes.
And then if you go even further, the Nilotics in Sudan,
yes,
Bil al-Sudan, they were the first to be considered black.
Yes.
But then if you go even further, the Ethiopians, the blackface,
burnt face,
sub-Saharan
burnt
people,
face.
yeah, the burnt face,
Yeah.
the burnt face.
They call Indians Ethiopians. Shoot, they
There you
call
go.
even dark. Shoot, they call darker Greeks. There was this indigenous Greeks. That's slightly darker than the other one. They call them Ethiopians.
So therefore, depending on what time period you're in, it goes from Greece to the global world, all the way to India, where they call the Ethiops burnt faces.
Yes.
To the Sudanese, who they called the Bilal al-Sudan, the black people, to the West and Central Africans and the transatlantic slave trade people who taken as black. So therefore, you have to look at the timeline.
Yeah, I can accept that, but I just feel like we only reason that we accepted black is because we didn't know
we didn't have no choice.
Else.
We lost our identity.
No choice, yeah.
But I'll say this though. One thing that you said, Aki, is this, our Sonic brother. Bilal al-Sudan, when the Arabs came in 641 AD, and they came in through Egypt, they looked at the people between Egypt, they call Egypt Misr, and they classified the people of Sudan, Bilal al-Sudan. All these names, from Ethiops or Ethiopic to Bilal el-Sudan to even Nigeria or even Negro or whatever you want to call it, was all given to us by other people. This is never a label that we gave ourselves. So when the Greeks come in, yes, they did call people in India Ethiops for their burnt skin. When the Arabs come in, they call us Bilal el-Sudan in that portion of Africa and that portion of Sudan. When the Portuguese come in, they call them people in Angola Negro. Right? Negro evolved into nigger. Nigger, negro, and black means the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, even in the Roman period, when they described the West African groups, when they were describing the Berbers, they called us Negrati. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're like dark, you know what I'm saying, black people.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what's crazy? The contradiction. If a black man say, I'm not no nigger, I'm a black man. You basically saying I'm not black.
It's the same
I'm a black
shit.
Man.
I'm black.
It's the same shit.
Nigger
and black is the same.
Nigger,
shit.
nigger, negro, and black is the same shit. So if you saying don't call me nigger, don't call me black either, because black and nigger is synonymous. It means the same shit. It's
like a mind. It's a mind game.
It's a fucking mind game, bro.
I agree with you. I'm gonna go back to this right now. As Drake and Kendrick battle right now, some quotes are coming out of Kendrick, who's a freaking Hebrew Israelite. God damn it, because I love him as a rapper. Saying that don't call me black no more. I'm like, maybe he doesn't even understand what he's trying to say right now.
Yeah, they argue that's not what he meant. It was like they're saying that has something to do with something. I ain't even gonna get to the whole.
No, let's not get into it. He's a Hebrew Israelite,
that was basically
bro.
his cousin or something like that. Something.
Hey, y'all seen Hey, you ever seen that? You ever seen that show, American Gods?
Yeah,
You
that's
seen it? The
one of my
one,
favorite shows.
yeah, the one, that scene that said everything was that scene when Nancy was talking to the slaves on the boat.
Oh, black dude, I forgot his name.
Yeah, his name Orlando,
Yeah.
Orlando something.
We
Yeah, that's
we
But
my
he was,
favorite.
he said, yeah, y'all don't know it. He said, but y'all niggas now, y'all black people now, y'all don't know what the fuck that is.
but in truth,
Yep.
The African American, we range in color, skin tone.
Oh yeah.
We could just be classified as African American. I mean, that's a good label within itself because African American can look like Mariah Carey. African American can look like Michael Jordan or fucking or Shaquille O'Neal
Because there ain't no limits,
Or
bro.
Wesley Snipes
It ain't no
Yeah.
Wesley
limits.
Snipes.
Even in the same family, like a person can have a light skinned
Hey,
child,
look, it
dark
goes.
skin.
It ain't no
That's because
limit.
and then
It
that's
could
because
be.
we inherited that kit. We inherited that
Look,
kit biz gene from Europeans that
Yes,
allowed
but
it.
listen, an African American can be half black, half Asian.
yes,
We got. It's
yes.
no limits. It could be
It's no
anything.
limit.
Bro.
It's
Yeah.
no. Hey, you know what's crazy, King?
Yeah, I'm so
There
sorry.
is no rules to black.
There ain't no rules, bro.
We have biracial people that actually look like Farad Muhammad, and we don't know what the hell he was. And these niggas named Red in our community, and they
Yeah.
black. The niggas
Right.
say nigga, he hang out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
black people usually accept they biracials. It's black. That's just the
That's how
standards of
we do.
America.
That's how
We
we do.
always did.
Look at
Yeah,
look at Louis Henry Gates' dad.
Exactly. And he 50-50. He ain't even know it. He 50-50.
yeah,
He ain't even
yeah.
know it.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
Goose, let me challenge you for once.
we accept all outcasts, bro.
Yeah. But now but I would say, when it comes to the Egyptians, even though the Egyptians was African, genetically they would have always fell in line with people near the Middle East, regardless to some of them having some layers of Nilotic old DNA that's been there. There has been a lot of parallel evolution and convergence that appeared with these people. You know what I'm saying?
You're telling me
So
I'm not
so
Egyptian, man? What the hell?
so so no. I'm just going back to that because people have to understand because when people hear like Egypt or the people are blurring the line, and you got to be very careful because even though we're 99.9% the same, I talked about the 5 billion variants or 5 billion pairs of chemicals in litters and 5 million variants when it comes to alleles or pairs of genes that shift within that 0.1%. So even though we're 99.9% the same, at the demi level or client levels, there are unique mutations based off regions that we develop in. You can't get past that. You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
So even
Yeah,
the African,
yeah.
like when they put the African American, let me just say this: when they put the African American on PCAs, right, and they
Yeah.
measure up the admixture, African Americans fall in line with Maasai people and Tutsi people because of the
Yeah.
sexual integration. They're not even close to the population and proxy and certain layers of West Africans, even though we're genetically closer to West Africans. But when they put us in certain PCAs, some layers put us because we have Northwestern European, we fall in the middle or intermediate zones, and we fall in line with more admixed African population groups, even though there are distinct mixtures. See
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I'm gonna say I broke that down earlier about the gamma demis and all that, like different population groups, the difference that people see that they think that's a race is really the demi level. You know
Yep,
what I'm
that's
saying?
it.
That's why I even broke down the gorillas. Like even you have gorillas, lowland gorillas and mountain gorillas, the same species. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? But you can call them races based on the lowland gorillas having, you know what I'm saying, having a different taxonomy look, you know what I'm saying, phenotypical look, and the mountain gorillas having a phenotypical look, even though they the same close, they're not even a subspecies. They're the same, you know what I'm saying? They're the
yep,
same species. Even like I broke down the polar bears. I said the polar bears they had 19 different dams. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
If polar bears created race, if they created race amongst they said they had 19 different races. You know what I'm saying?
Correct, correct.
So race, you know what I'm saying?
What was a
Yeah.
separate race when we studied taxonomy? Like species. when we look at the taxon, you have the species, you have you have layers of it in taxon. So the species like us, our species is human. We are human, but the type of human we are is Homo sapiens. Neanderthals was humans in species, but the type of human they were was Homo neanderthalis, right?
Yeah.
So the only thing that's a separate race within a human family is Neanderthals compared to Homo sapiens. Today, all of us are Homo sapiens. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
it gets real tricky.
It's a different species. Yeah, it's a different species.
Right. So Neanderthal is the same. He's within a family. He's within a human family. He's a human, but he's a different species of human. He's Homo
Human, yeah.
neanderthalis, and
Yeah.
we are Homo sapiens. So that's a separate race. But when it comes to modern humans, there is no such thing as that. British, Chinese, Nigerian, all the same.
Yep. Yep. I broke down earlier too how like even in biology, you know what I'm saying, using race even in that is informal. You know what I'm saying? Because shit can vary. Shit go back and forth with certain shit. You know what I'm saying? Like taxonomic categories and shit. Like some shit, you know, like you don't know, they don't know if it's a subspecies or they don't know if it's just some shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like that could be a different dim. You know what I'm saying?
I think people get confused by the mutations and let's say migration timelines.
Yeah.
So then they start to assume that certain people groupings are associated with a certain let's say geographical region.
Yeah.
That's why you have Neanderthal James saying
Yeah.
that anyone who is light skinned is a Neanderthal.
And then too, I broke down how like you got different molecular clocks. Like some species can mutate and variate faster rate at such a fast rate that you know what I'm saying that like you end up like humans to where you have like you know what I'm saying one species would not necessarily you know so much variations in that species would not necessarily enough for you know what I'm saying us to not procreate with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You got some that get slowed down and some that's faster, like for us, like you know, for us our speciation.
We still procreate with each other, though.
Mutation rate.
Keep what y'all doing up, man. Stay out of bed, nigga.
Yeah, you heard what I was saying, and goes.
Said what I keep?
Yeah, cut off.
I said I broke down earlier too that you know based on the molecular clock, certain speciation happens at faster rates than other. Like for a certain species like humans or even like how I'm saying them polar bears, some they species like I mean they not speciate but they mutate speciate so fast.
Yeah.
Like mosquitoes. Like mosquitoes.
Even though they have isolated groups, it's not enough for the isolated groups not be able to procreate with each other. The same way humans have different groups, even though we're the same species, we variate at a faster rate, so we still can mutate. You know what I'm saying? You know, populate with each other.
You can get a different species of mosquito in about 15.
Reproduce with each other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can get different species of mosquito probably in about 30 to 50 years.
Yeah.
Just like within the family.
No more.
Just like within the family of the Pantheos family between a lion and that's not the same species, you know, but they're the same family, but they're not the same species. A lion and a tiger. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that Neanderthal. They're still close enough to where they can mate.
It's limitations.
The male will be sterile.
Limitations to reproduction, like even with the offspring.
Yeah,
so within species category, sexual selection can be successful within a 1,000,000-year gap. Right. So within 1,000,000 years of separation within the same family, you can have successful reproduction, and that's why certain species like Neanderthal was able to breed with Homo sapiens, and we diverged from one another 600,000 years ago. Right. But we was able to do it.
And the goddamn, you know, the one mixed with the goddamn Aboriginal Australians slipped my mind right now.
Oh, Denisovan.
Denisovan.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy?
And it was probably different types. It was probably different types of Denisovan too, because you had Denisovan that mixed with Aboriginal Australian, some mixed with like East Asian groups. You know what I'm saying? Like the Tibetan people that got that shit in them. But there's probably a whole different type of Denisovan that mixed with them.
I don't know, but I think they only found like one pinky bone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Well, they saying Dragon Man now, and Dragon Man now, they saying that he was Denisovan. The recent studies tried to say that Kabwe Man, East Africa, possibly was Denisovan based off morphologies, off cranial metrics. But what's the name said the guy what's his name I forgot his name from the UK. He said that that's a retention. The Denisovans retain certain features that came from the species that they diverged from Africa. But Dragon Man and Dolly Man falls in line with Denisovan, and it also is very similar to Kabwe Man or Kabwe Man skull and
Yeah.
craniometrics. So they retain a lot of that old stuff. So
Yeah.
it's getting real crazy, bro. The story of how we shaped and what happened. But I will say this: if you look at the oldest skulls of Homo sapiens, from Jebel Hood in Morocco to even the humans in Skahul Cave, those people, early Africans, if you want to be technical, Aborigine Australians look very close to the earlier phase of even Homo sapiens, right? Based off Jebel Hood. Jebel Hood looks more closer to an Aboriginal. So even tropical adapted sub-Saharan Africans have later derived traits.
Oh
But
yeah.
people, they're not ready to accept that, you know.
Yeah. I think the Aboriginal Australians too, they probably look more like them Papua New Guinean people before they
Yeah,
start fucking with them dinosaurs. They got that look like the ones we see now. They got that deep look like that because they ain't fuck with some archaic motherfuckers too. You
yep,
know what I'm saying? But I think
yep.
originally they probably look like them Papua New Guineans. That's their closest relative. It's
I
probably
yes,
like the humans that migrated right out. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
Like,
I
cause like
agree.
even
I
because
agree.
even with the Omo one and Omo two, they had distinct looks. Like Omo one probably look. You know, so probably was robust. Probably like a more robust, Nilotic looking dude or something. Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
how that Mesolithic Sudanian look. But
Yeah,
then in
What?
Omo two, that motherfucker look straight up like Rhodesian man or something. You know what I'm
yes, yes.
saying?
So what am I
It,
mixed with? Omo 1 or Omo 2?
but
Sufi.
Omo one look more modern, but Omo two look more like archaic. He still have archaic traits, like
he said he had
like
a thicker,
look more
he
like
had a,
Homo sapien adultus. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he had a thicker brow. It's just like Hofmeyr skull. A lot of early humans, like late Pleistocene Europeans, they look more like a distinct people, like something like Africans or earlier phase of Africans. They had the same affinity. If you look at Hofmeyr skull found in South Africa, which is 40 to 33,000 years old, he falls in line with late Pleistocene Europeans or Oessa, or what they call Oessa skull that was found in Rome. A lot of the earlier Europeans look very close to early Africans, which was lesser, like people like Papua New Guinea, like what Gullah was
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
He looked very similar to that, more than populations that you find there now. So
Hey,
if
that
we were
video
like,
game. If you ever played that, are you a gamer, son? If you
No,
ever
I
played
am.
that, if you ever played that video game, Far Cry Primal.
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Bro, they nailed it on what the people would look like in Paleo or Mesolithic Europe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They nailed that shit. Like Ubisoft, they used the real archaeological, you know what I'm saying, science that you know what I'm saying, put into the historical reference of their video games. Like even with Assassin's Creed, even they the same people that made their ancestor game with that you can evolve from the astral picture scene and all that shit. You know what I'm
See, if I knew it was more from East Africa, then I'd play it. I
no,
know Street Sufi shared the fact that I am mixed with like Proto-Nilotic and Omotic groups, but
yeah,
then
yeah,
I
you talking about the Cushitic, yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but then I assume that we were dark skinned at the end of the day because I'm not trying to believe those racists that say that North Africans were light skinned people that came down and then mixed with Nilotic, mixed
Yeah,
with Omotic and became
y'all,
darker.
y'all was dark and y'all was red and y'all was reddish. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Y'all started the light skin frequency. You know,
right,
like
yeah,
even like y'all wasn't like dark like no Nilotic motherfuckers, but like some of y'all was though, because some of y'all was still intermingling with Nilotic people, and some of y'all still had original Amota type genetics too. And then some of
right,
y'all was mixed with, you know what I'm saying, beige Eurasian, dark skinned, reddish beige Eurasian people look like Dravidoids and shit, back migrating back from Arabia.
right,
And
right.
then just by living in a high altitude region anyway, you're still gonna have a you know what I'm saying, lower UV radiation in certain regions. You know what I'm saying? So you still
I
gonna
Right.
be
So
you ain't gonna be super pale, but you're gonna be, you know what I'm saying, reddish to dark,
right. And
fluctuate.
look at me right now.
we have to be very it's something like the color like something like the color that you have now, but also when we talk about reddish brown with early humans, even including the Abibo Maroons further north, because that's further north in Morocco,
Yeah,
they lack SLC 245 on chromosome 15.
yeah,
So if you lack that, if you lack that, a lot of, even the Natufians with darker skin, and we're talking about more of a mahogany brown when we say red.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
And look at the koi sign. The koi sign, you know what I'm saying, they could be lighter or yellowish with it without the shit. You know what I'm saying? So you still
yes,
like when you go into moderate regions, you know what I'm saying. You ain't gonna be as dark as no damn Nigerian no shit. You go, you know what I'm saying. So
correct.
and some might be dark though, like how yeah, you know how you have a super dark Somalian, but you still have a reddish one too in the same family. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
they could be reddish brown and they can
It
be
could
dark
carry that
brown.
trait, cause still
And
like
yeah,
that moderate region, that moderate zone. You know what I'm saying? Dark skins can still be tolerated, and lighter skins still be tolerated in that area. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I, I
But
agree.
more, but yes, and we got to be. So here's the thing too. Before SLC 245, the ancestor variant for that already derived in Africa, which is ancestral GG,
Oh
and then you
yeah,
have the CC.
yeah,
So we understand ancestral GG, which arose a very long time ago before the variant started to arose, because the variant arose in populations as a package 30,000 years ago outside of Africa, but the ancestral allele for it derived in Africa. It kicked in with population hunter gatherers near the Caucasus around 19,000 years ago. And those populations in the Caucasus started to drift down towards northern Anatolia and mix with those pre Anatolian groups. And then around 8,000 years ago, even though the variant arose and started to kick in with certain populations, 8,000 years ago, it started to spread. 6,500 years ago, it makes it to the Levant. 5,400 years ago, it makes it to Egypt. 7,000 years ago or 8,000 years ago, it makes it to Europe. So we have to follow the direction
yeah.
of
That
how
shit.
this stuff starts spreading.
That shit was spread by my ancestors though.
Yeah,
Them
Y
G part,
chromosome G.
them
Yeah,
goat, them caucus hunter gatherers. That you know what I'm saying, that was for fucking with the, you know, farmers and shit. And they was, you know, they ended up, you know what I'm saying, domesticating goats and sheep and shit.
and we have to be, and that's true, and we have to be very careful with SLC 245 because that gene can be active, but if you have other genes that's active, it can camouflage it. So you can like,
Yeah,
so a lot. If you read the article called "Light Skin and Dark Skin Both Evolved in Africa," a lot of Habesha have SLC 245, but they have other genes that's active that camouflages it. So it creates these reddish undertone type people. They could be like gullah. Like, for example, I need to get tested to see if I got that on chromosome 15 because I can have other genes that's active because a larger component of my DNA is from tropical sub-Saharan Africans, but I can still, because of the integration from non-African populations, we can have that. And that's why they say 15 to 20% of African Americans have SLC245 that's active. But other genes, just like a Habesha people, that can be active in your melanin cortin receptor 1 variant, can be active, which kind of camouflages the undertone. But in Europe, they didn't have a lot of those active genes. A lot of the populations kind of like wiped out. That was the darker skinned hunter gathering groups when the Anatolian farmers got there. Then the Yemeniya got there. So they didn't have the active genes to worry about. So SLC 2.5 can completely express itself fully compared to populations in warmer zones. So you got to be very careful of how active this gene works on SLC 2.5 or chromosome 15. When alanine changes position at the 111 amino acid, it becomes threonine. That's what A11T is. It gets real tricky.
I've seen that in real life where I've seen like Habesha people who are my friends, like some will be as darker than I am, and some will be pretty light to the fact they look intermixed, but more like 74, 70-30.
Yeah, it gets like that. That's what I'm saying. When
you
you look
like
up this,
that.
if you can look up this SLC 2.5, you can go to Wiki. The citations is there. It shows you how this gene works, how it started to express itself, how it started to dominate. It's just it
Yeah.
gets like that. But I would say,
And then the Habesha people, they mix with a lot of different outsiders too, more so. You know?
yes, because at first, the first Habesha before they became Habesha or Semitic speakers, they was more like Cushitic, the Aga people. But
Yeah,
then
and certain Somalis, like certain Somalis though, like the Somalis that's more closer to a duelist. You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers, they mix with more Arabians and shit. They the first ones who brought a coffee to Arabia.
But here's the thing
The rabbinic coffee and shit. You know what I'm saying?
that Der Kabil, those
Yeah.
cats have the later derived Semitic signature in them. Not the other Kabils, but the Der would have to
Yeah.
be key at a high percentage. Them dudes mixed with the later derived Middle Eastern populations too that drifted into North Africa and made it down there like because T been down there for like 5,000 years. And a lot of those dudes, people don't understand how these Eurasians was coming in at different times. The earliest phase of Eurasians come in 23,000 years ago. They were dark skinned. That's people with mtDNA, U6, Y chromosome, CV20. You can still see CV20 in a small population in Algeria, but the rest of them kind of wiped out from the E1B1B that kind of dominated over them on the paternal side. Then you got the
Yeah.
U6 that came in. So 20,000 years ago, 23,000 years, you got them coming in.
Yeah,
Around
and them culture looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, yeah. So the Sokotra people, they are a good proxy for early Natufians, but also a good proxy for pre-pottery Neolithic groups, because the pre-pottery Neolithic groups was already mixed with North African, who mixed with indigenous Cambrians, who became Natufians, and then those people started to mix with the Helawins in southern Turkey that built Göbekli Tepe, and they become the pre-pottery Neolithic group. That's when you start to find the Bedouin groups that live in the Negev, the Socotra groups and all them, that morphology. And then around 6,000 years ago, this is when you start to find people spreading the SLC. They're coming from lesser Caucasus of Iran and Armenia, and they're starting to spread in the Middle East. And they hit Israel, and they're spreading, because at first, before they got there, a lot of those people looked like people of Socotra or Yemen. But then when those people came down, they gave them the SLC 245, and then some of the people even started to leak in the Chalcolithic period into the Egypt or northern Egypt. So mixtures occurred multiple times. 23,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago, 9,000 years ago, and then another phase 5,500 years ago. It kept happening over and over again.
No, that makes sense. One thing I'll say is Socotra is attached to Somalia, so we should have owned that place. I don't know what the hell happened. And you understand this geographically, Ngozi.
Oh yeah, that's your people.
Yeah.
Them your people, them your cousins. I mean, politics kick in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Shit, it's like Chicago and Indiana. Shit, it's next to each other. Shit. Missouri in the Midwest. Gullah, my cousin on all other levels. You know what I'm saying? But Gullah in between, his culture in Missouri, they kept a lot of the southern, southern based roots compared to other motherfuckers that kind of drifted away. So when you get to Missouri, it gets very unique, even though it's the Midwest. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. It's like the southern part, and they call it the gateway to the west. It used to be the most western part of the states and shit before
Nice.
Lewis and Clark went out. You know what I'm saying, west and shit to the Pacific.
Wait, Lewis and Clark? You mean Superman went out there?
Nah, Lewis and
Oh,
Clark.
I'm kidding, bro. You know what I mean, Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, Sacagawea and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Superman the reporter. Sorry, I troll sometimes with this stuff. But even when you say Iran, the Persians, they came all the way down to Somalia. So sometimes our language, some of the words that we have is influenced by the Persians that came down at whatever point, or Arabs that came in at some point, or Indians that came in at some point. So it's like there's words that I'll use in my native language.
Because modern day Arab was influenced by Persian anyway when they was over there and shit. The Persian put the Jews in fucking Islam. Them niggas got on them niggas went shit until they conquered Persia. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Or converted. They wouldn't even know real conquer to them Persian niggas. They was down with the shit. Them niggas had the money and all that shit. Like, all right, we cool. Damn, we fuck with y'all.
Those guys ain't messing around till this day. But the whole area sometimes, some people don't understand until they research that everyone's intermixed. They have influences that are going on, and that as humanity or proximity has influenced us over time. Nobody's pure. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nobody ain't pure.
You know what's crazy though? When you get into our DNA, people that's like mixed with like British and Irish, when you split the European components up, a lot of them got Anatolian farmer DNA, the same Anatolian farmer DNA that hit North Africa. And they got the Yamnaya. We got they brought us, gave us, that's the only separation when the Yamnaya population brought the Caucasus hunter-gatherer component, even though they were pastoralists, into us. And that's the separation. And then we got the old Mesolithic European hunter gathering groups that drifted into Europe 40,000 years ago from the old hunter gatherers in the upper Paleolithic. When they left out of North Africa, went to the Middle East, and made it to Europe 40,000 years ago. So a lot of your ties, believe it or not, that could be shared with North Africa is within the layers of your European DNA from the Anatolian component that North Africa had in they had. The only difference is North Africa don't have a large cluster of Yamnaya DNA. You know, they just mainly Anatolian farmer and it's absent amongst them. We got to be very careful with how we read this shit, bro. It get real tricky.
No, when we discussed that before, that's why I try to say that I'm trying to stick to East Africa, and I don't want to mention the ancient mixes from North Africa because people get confused.
Yeah,
And
that North Africa shit get tricky. Those early North Africans, even when they were dark before SLC, they were dark, and it's no, but nothing, but nobody can get past that. I don't
Yeah.
like, they can't get past that. Even if they like, what
It
Gullah
ain't
said, they
had,
was red and brown.
and them niggas had a lot of E markers and E3B markers and shit.
Yeah, they was mainly E3B, and they was all up there, and they were dark, and even
Yeah,
when they were red,
bro, them early Afro-Asiatic speakers, because you had a mixture. It was always a mix in the first place. You had them Eritrean speakers coming in from the Red Sea going up there, fucking with them Iberian Marusian type motherfuckers who already had a Beja Eurasian shit, different shit in them. Yeah, they even had a Tyrian shit in them on certain levels. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
that yeah,
and when they brought the when these when them North Eritrea branches came up there, they was already like Cushitic like anyway.
yeah,
Because the Proto-Cushitic or the Cushitic people is the basal branch of Eritrea of the Eritrea branch anyway. Y'all just like contemporary, just kept living
correct.
on, still living the old traditions. When them people just they went up north out of the Red Sea regions, they mixed with them groups that was already up there. You
So
know what
so
I'm
Gullah, so you brought Gullah. One time I like to do a show with you, on your show or whoever show, and talk about the E who brought Eda, because what from my research, the population that gave E to North Africa and EB38 into the Sahara, as it went west, is something called the Cormarusians that drift out of Ethiopia. They drip out of Eritrea or Ethiopia, and they take E into different directions. And this is when
saying?
you start to see
Yep,
EM35, which is E1B1B, and
yep,
E1B1A split from one another. So the thing that I'm learning is that East Africans did not stop going into North Africa, because the first phase was the Tyrians. The Tyrians going to North Africa around 130,000 years ago, and they meet the Jebel Hud type, right? They meet that type and they mix with them. Now, as they meet them, the same type that was in ancient North Africa, right? Before we have ancestral North Africans, you have this mix of these same people that was in West Africa that was Jebel Hud type. They mix with them. So I'm finding out now that before the Tyrians went further north, some of them went towards the Sahara. It ended up in West Africa. Did you know that the
yeah,
that the
yeah, yeah.
Biaka pygmies are close to the Tyrians, bro? I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
that's
sorry, the Mbuti and the Bana.
That's what I've been, bro. That's what I've been telling you, bro.
Yep,
Them,
they
them,
close to them.
the Materians, the Tyrians are really just an offshoot of some early humans.
Yep,
It like branched off of modern humans in the East African zones
yep,
before Khoisan even branched off from modern humans.
correct.
They was their own little group. They was their own type of group of humans. They mixed with the Jebel Hood dudes. And then like when shit, you know what I'm saying, certain desertification started happening around like 40,000 years ago. Because you had other, dried up seasons of the Sahara or phases of the Sahara. Some of them migrated
South.
into Senegal and all that
Yep,
shit,
yep,
and they intermixed with the archaic humans there. You know what I'm
right.
saying? It
So
came this hybrid group, and then later on, the Shum Lock, these people, these 30,000 years ago, people coming in from you know what I'm saying, a southern route coming into West Africa, going into Shum Laka, and them people was like the pygmy ancestors and the West African hunter gatherer ancestors.
right,
And the West African hunter gatherers mixed with them hybrid groups that was already there. That was like early modern human and archaic modern human that was mixed up and shit. and they start fucking with them people.
So the basal West African, not the West African hunter gatherer, but the basal West African hunter gatherers, like you spoke of, were mainly that ghost population that they're seeing in layers of
It's
what
a
like the Europe.
mix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that ghost population was a mix between something that was a Tyrian like, but it was the Tyrian population that didn't really drift further north. They kind of like, you know how they split one group went further. Because here's the thing. So remember, in our Ibero Marusians, at base root, right? The signatures are labeled Yoruba and Hadza like, right? Now, when you use the F4 and go further back in base stem, that switches into something that's called Mbuti, right? Now we know the Y chromosome, the main
that's the Shumlaka people. That's the
right.
Shumlaka
That's the
shit.
Shamlaka. So guess what? The earlier Tyrians who split from early ancestral East Africans that you spoke of around 130,000 years ago, probably earlier, a lot of those people was lingering in those Sahel zones for a longer phase before drifting north and becoming a Tyrians. As they
Yeah,
go there, some of these people going to West Africa and North Africa and meet Jabella Hood type. And as they fuse, this becomes basal West African hunter gatherer. Then
yeah, yeah,
you have another layer of people who's just straight Tyrian like, who becomes very West African hunter gatherer, and that's what the Mbuti people are like. And
yeah, yeah.
those people don't.
Like
They,
the Central African hunter gatherers and the West African hunter gatherers are cousins. They come out of them.
they cousins, but here's the trick: the Mbuti people lack the ghost pop because they saying now that the Bantus in Cameroon don't have the ghost population signal like the Yoruba and the Mandinka. It decreases in them. So even the Mbuti pygmies, they have old real Homo sapiens signatures that split from the earlier. So that they're saying that I'm gonna send you the article. They're closer to the Tyrian like people, Mbuti people in one phase. The basal West African hunter gatherers, they're cousins to them, but they mix with that Jabella Hood type. Then you got another phase of East Africans that drift up there around 45,000 years ago that becomes Hadza like with Omotic or motor alleles, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's who bring E up there. They kept drifting up there over and over and
yeah,
over
yeah. Them the
again.
rich, them the E's that was more melodic like. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And then the later E's, the E1B1A niggas, we the late Stone Age niggas.
Yes. Yes.
We the niggas. They call us East slash Western Saharians.
Correct. Correct.
You know what I'm saying? We migrated, you know what I'm saying, split off from our brothers, you know what I'm saying, E3B, which is the later East African groups, you know what I'm saying? We was E1B1, E1B1A, went into the savannas and shit,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, became willing savannah people in the Western Sudan and
Correct.
migrated
Teach.
migrated into South Central Sahara during the
That's
green
right. Teach
phase.
Gullah. Teach Gullah. And not just that, to add on what Gullah's saying, as E1B1B drift, I mean E1B when they drift off, E1B1B that kept going north, this nigga started to leave out of Africa. So IY Sonic, you left out of Africa. You kept leaving out. Like your brothers kept leaving out. Easy 827, Easy 830, you kept leaving out. And then
Yeah.
some layers of you become the Natubian, and then you even mix with some people, and some layers of you even back migrated in as pre-pottery groups. So E1B1B had a longer range in North
Yeah.
Africa and in the Mediterranean compared to other groups.
Yeah, because they even found out that D marker, that shit migrated out later than other
Yep,
branches did. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
That's why if you really look at them Adam and Eve niggas, them niggas look like slightly melodic like, you know what I'm saying, or
yep.
hot to like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what a lot of those.
Like,
That's what a lot of those early people look like. That's what
yeah,
they look like.
them DEs and all that shit came out of something that was something like that. That was
Yep.
more modern, more gracile. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are cooking. I'm gonna say this. You guys are cooking. What I struggle with is this sometimes. When you say street sufi, when you're like, you guys migrated out and then you migrated back, and or your cousins or your brothers migrated out and came back in. The struggle I have is this. I agree with you 100%. The issue is when you talk about certain things, unless you give a timeline, people get confused and they become pseudo with this kind of stuff. That's why you have certain people saying that certain Africans, because of the mixes they have with West Asia, that they're not Africans anymore.
Well, we got
If
to
you
be
know what I'm
very.
trying to say, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but we have to be very careful with even like it's like what Razib Khan said and other scholars. Arabia in the southern Levant can be looked at as Greater Africa, even though Arabia sits on its own plate tectonic. People don't know that, right? If you deal with it, you would know that, right? If you deal with plate tectonics, Arabia has its own within the Asian world, but Israel or the Levant North sits in between the African-Syrian rift. It's called the Kissing Gap, where North Africa and the Gaza Strip is held together with near Israel. So it's African-Syrian rift. So Israel sits in between two plate tectonics, but Arabia has its own independent plate tectonic. But the organisms that has been backwards and forward and transgressed was shared between those regions for a very long time.
Yeah, long time. Yeah.
So some scholars is looking at Arabia in the Levant as Greater Africa, depending on who you're talking to, right? Now, when it comes to people yes, you're right, timeline. E1B1B is very old. E1B1B is probably 45,000 years old. It predates even Afro-Asiatic languages, which only evolved. It depends on who's speaking. Afro-Asiatic Proto probably divide. Christopher Ehret and Gullah was saying, Christopher Ehret and others say different numbers. Some people say 16,000 years. Yep. Some people say Proto-Afro-Asiatic was set between 20-some thousand years.
It postulates. It go up and down. You know
they go up and down. Now, but here's the trick. E1B1B predates that, so they had to be speaking a language prior before. So we know that even with Niger Congo, which is also later, E1B1A predates that as well. So when E1B1B leaves out of North Africa, you leave out of East Africa, it's called Marusians. You go north and you become those Halfling groups, and something called it starts with a K. Then some of y'all leak out and go into the Levant, and you mix with the Cambrians. The Cambrians already were very close to ancestral North Africans because they split from them. They become something called they split out of North Africa, become the Emirate culture, and later on the Emirate culture becomes the Levantine Argagetians, and then later on the Levantine Argagetians, some of them evolved into the Cambrians. So they already had a set population that was very close to the people that they split from.
Yeah, they was already Iberian Marusian like anyway.
They was already like that anyway, and then they dripped down. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, we're looking at 45,000 years going to North Africa. 24,000 years ago, they started to become independent clusters. EM35 from E1B1E splits into EV65, which forms into EM78. EM78 is a little later, but it had other layers in between. You have EV12, but it wasn't that split, that branch. You never left out fraternally. It's ZA27 that split into EZA30 that went into the Levant and became EM123, which that layer went out and came in. So you got to follow the trail of the genetic signatures when it started to diverge highly in North Africa. EV32 kind of stayed in, but received more women's signals who back migrated in. Yeah. Mixing with those people.
Yeah, hold on. As you said that, let me just get a little bit of clarification on this one. This is me learning, bro. When you say woman that drifted back in, from what I already understand, the EV32 mixed with women who are Proto-Nilotic and Omotic, so that were in East Africa already.
Right. So when y'all went back down, because y'all were very pre-Bija-like at first. The earlier Cushitic people were proto-Bija-like, right? The Beja people, they're a good example, a good proxy to early Cushitic people, right? Example, even though they have some later integration from Arabs, I'm using them as a base population example of early Cushitics that was in between North Sudan and Egypt, because that's where you guys start from before going further down as pastoralists. But what I'm saying is, when you was up there, you mixed with a lot of people who back migrated from the Levant at an early time period, like mtDNA-R, later clades of N that kind of developed independently in between Egypt and the Levant. You mix with them. As you came down, something like the Proto-Bija type is pastoralists, or really pre-pottery Neolithic cultures. As you drifted down, you go through Kenya and become those pastoralist groups they talk about that starts with an E.
Yeah, the South Cushitic groups.
Yeah, the Southern Cushitic groups. Then you go through the North. So you went through a lot of phase and you accumulated more Omotic signal, because Omotic was already lingering around. So basically, the Omotic or Moda, pre-Moda, was the Hadza-like signal that was already drifting in North Africa 40-something thousand years ago. Then you go down and you meet up with the sister groups or your cousins that you split from. So you're meeting up with those women or people that you split from earlier.
You split from like the basal people that just kept living on.
Yeah,
these like your grandma family. You know what I'm saying? Right. Your grandma's sister kids and shit.
No, I got you, Gala. But the female portion, right? Because the thing is, the paternal line, we did split from EV32, split from EV12.
Right.
As you said right now, Egypt and Sudan or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Upper
But
Egypt, North Sudan.
yeah, but then therefore we started intermixing with females who never left Africa for the most part,
Correct.
as you
Correct.
would call it. Yeah, the Proto-Nilotic, Omaric, which will
Yeah.
be our
And that's why
grandparents
you
at the
got
end of
so
the day.
many. That's why you got so many different branches of L3s all over there too.
Man,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
the Cushitic people got so many L's, bro. Like when y'all went down and mixed up with y'all ancestral East, because remember, Aki, ancestral North Africans split from ancestral East Africans. So y'all was already a sister group. So when
Yeah.
y'all go back down, y'all meeting up with y'all great grandmothers. Y'all got from LOA to L5 down there. That's how unique y'all is and high
all them
score.
different L3s. You remember
And a
L3?
bunch of
L3
L3.
the mother of everybody else.
She's the mother
I,
of all Eurasians.
I agree with you guys. The only thing that I wanted to clarify is the fact that at one point I felt like you said the paternal line intermixed with women that came in, but then I looked at it as the opposite direction where it's the paternal line that came back in and intermixed with their ancestral, um, let's say now
So
Proto-Nilotic and
so so
Omaric
so so so
ancestors.
so
Yeah. Proto-Amadic. Yeah.
so as E1B1B go north, it goes into EM35, and then you start to see EV12 start to come out of EV68 or EV65. EV65 and EV68, if I'm not mistaken. That branch stayed there, but as you stayed there and become EV12, a lot of Cambrian groups from the Levant in the north start coming in. They going backwards and forward. You're mixing. As you mix, you become more of the proto-Bija type. This is when you start to see the inception of, even before you guys speak the Cushitic layer within Afro-Asiatic, you guys are going backwards and forward. Then
Yeah.
later with the pre-pottery, go ahead.
I would say even when it like even when that group when the Eritrea branch branched off from Proto-Amadic, and the Proto-Amadic went their way, and the Eritrea speakers, you know what I'm saying, these are Proto-Amadic group became the Eritrea speakers and branched off further north.
Yeah,
Y'all was mixing with motherfuckers coming in through the Arabian Peninsula and shit.
exactly. Y'all
Basically
was out,
anyway, becoming a different kind of different group than
right.
y'all Madic cousins and shit. You
So
know,
so 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 what
and then
gun?
y'all went up north and stuff mixing, and then I started mixing with even more motherfuckers.
There you
You
go.
know what
A
I'm
lot of people that back see here see Eurasians. What happened is Eurasians came in two phases. The Cambrian groups came into North Egypt, Upper Egypt and North Sudan around 23,000 years ago. They was going backwards and forward. Then the Zuzana, who went through Italy and crossed into North Africa, they came in 23,000 years ago. Those people started hitting Gibraltar and they hit North Africa near, Morocco, which is mtDNA U6. So basically, what was going on between, you have two layers of Eurasians coming in. So, like Brother Gullah was saying, the first phase was those Cambrian groups who already shared some North African layers of DNA. They was like a first cousin group, but became an independent branch within that layer of their side of the continent. But then you have the pre-Proto Neolithic. When those Natufian-like populations start to drifting towards the further east, they mix with people near Turkey and they go through their cultural exchange. They become pastoralist cults after being hunter gatherers. So this creates the first phase of pre-Proto Neolithic. They're coming in through through Yemen and Arabia, and they're coming in as pastoralist group, hitting Eritrea and hitting certain parts of the Dakhla oasis of Egypt. And then later on, you become more of the Bija, I'm going to say proto-Bija, even before Cushitic branch of Afro-Asiatic starts to shape. Because Cushitic branch within that Afro-Asiatic language family starts in between North Sudan, probably around 10,000 years ago. And then it drifts down around 8,000 years ago. It makes it towards the Horn and becomes a unique cluster around 7 to 6,000 years ago. This is within this layer of Afro-Asiatic. So when you go down, as these pastoralist men go down, they're meeting up with their mother groups or their sister groups that they split from, the cousins that never left. But your paternal line never left. Some of you, it's the brother branch of your paternal line that left, that comes out of EZA27, which comes from out of EM35. EZA27 branches off and becomes EM123 in the Levant from EZA30 or whatever. Now, when you look at the pre-Proto Neolithic culture at Gullah, if you could type them up right now, I don't know if you can show it. Could you show that?
Show what?
Pre-Proto Neolithic B culture, so I can show my brother what I'm talking about.
Sri Sufi, I agree with you for the most part. Like I truly agree with you. One thing I can say is I am like East Africa, right?
Yeah, you 100% East Africa.
Yeah, and then you have Northeast Africa, which is, let's say, the Egyptians. I
Yeah,
am East Africa, which is
yeah,
South,
no,
But
yeah,
right?
you're completely East Africa.
bro, you know what I'm saying? A lot of time when they say East Africa, they talking about like, you know what I'm saying, below the fucking horn. Like when you talking about that northern, like the northern horn,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about where Cushitic people originally from. Like y'all, like Somalians and y'all groups, y'all the eastern, you know what I'm saying, Cushitic groups, y'all migrated down where y'all at more
No,
recent, you know what I'm saying? But
Gal,
like,
I agree with you, bro. It's like 7,000 years ago, like 6,000 years ago
Yeah,
yeah,
for the most
yeah,
part.
yeah.
So
But like even where y'all originally from, like them highland regions and shit, that's still considered like the most southern part of Northeast Africa. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Gal, I have no dispute with you for the most part. That's why that's why I fight for modern Egyptians or the ancient Egyptians for the most
Yeah,
part.
that's
And
why. Like I would say before you go in, I would say that's why. Like the horn sometimes is still considered meaner based on agricultural base because you can still grow wheat and barley in them regions because the climate is still, you know what I'm saying, the same regional climate. You know what I'm saying, like Northeast Africa, Arabia, you know what
So,
I'm saying, regions.
hey, Gullah, you pulled up pre-modern Neolithic bee culture?
Hold on, I'm looking up now. Hold on, you talking about the reconstructions?
No, no, go to wiki so he can see it, so I can show my brother the genetics of them, so he can see what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
okay. I got you. I got
no,
you.
pull it up. But Sri Sufi, the thing is, I'm not disagreeing with you because this is a comment that you made in the past that made me laugh, and I'm like, that makes sense to me. When some people are trying to take modern Egyptians out of Africa, and then you made a comment. This is the comment you made. You're like, well, if they got invaded and changed, then there must have been a bunch of women that came in and changed them.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth because
You said modern realistic.
it's like Drake, for example. I'm just gonna postulate right now. Drake Daddy is a black man or African American from Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know what his Y chromosome is. I don't know, but I'm gonna play like he's E1B1A because he can be R, he can be G, he can be T. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, look at Drake. Drake daddy could be E1B1A. Drake mother's Jewish, right? And Drake father was probably autosomally only 70% sub-Saharan, 76% sub-Saharan African, right? Then his mother's full white, Ashkenazi, Eastern European, Ashkenazi. So Drake's probably about 56% European, right? Then he mixes with this French lady and creates
Yep.
this little boy. This little boy is only 25% sub-Saharan African, but autosomally he's mainly European. So it's like, so what I'm
No,
saying is you can see a change in less than 100 years right there
uh,
within that. See what I'm saying?
seriously, seriously,
Mhm.
I agree with you with that. It's the internet right now, and I don't want to give too much detail about stuff. But if a Somali like myself intermix with, let's say, a white lady,
Yeah,
my kid will look European
yeah,
compared to somebody who's from Western Central Africa
yeah.
intermixing with a European
Yeah,
woman.
cause you already got them. You already got them traits and genes in them. Then unlock it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
And a lot of them traits also derive from ancestral North Africans. People are not ready for that though. A lot of these non-African traits, believe it or not, it started shifting gear towards that 50,000 years ago from the first population that started to derive from ancestral North Africans. And that's why they use the Hadza as a basal branch, or they say the Hadza signals are more closer to non-African populations. So even Moda, even though Moda never left, he's closer to those layers. So what I'm saying is that what they're labeling is sometimes this Libertine signature. Israel and Egypt is only 300 miles away from each other compared to um, Israel is more closer to Egypt than Egypt is to Nigeria. So what I'm
yep.
trying to say is that a lot of this Libertine stuff actually is aboriginal to that layer of Africa.
Yeah,
It started to shift towards that. So you got to
yeah.
be very careful when you hear that.
I would say and Mota is an example of branches of the branches up the branch off of like Niger Congo speakers before they even went west and shit. You know what I'm saying? They represent like a sister branch of them people.
Look what it says. It says
For
pre-primary
most of the
Neolithic
people.
B that it says pre-primary Neolithic B was analyzed with ancient DNA, and they were found to carry paternal Y chromosome E1B1B, CT, E, which is the original EM96. They had T, H2, CT, and was also the pre-primary Neolithic C specimen. It says maternally, they had a rare basal haplogroup of N, and has also been found with skeletal remains of the pre-prior Neolithic B. And it says as they also have mtDNA L3, which is the mother of all Eurasians, and K. So what I'm trying to say is that if you look at the paternal line of these people, you can see what's going on. Look who they share the DNA with. It says DNA analysis has confirmed ancestors between pre-prior Neolithic culture and barriers of makers of Epipaleolithic Ibero-Mauritian culture of North Africa, Mesolithic Natufian culture, the Levant Savannah pastoralist Neolithic culture of East Africa, the early Neolithic Chaldean culture of Morocco, and the ancient Egyptian culture of Nile Valley, which fossils associated with these early cultures share common genomic components. So it was already shared. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, bro, seriously, we've discussed this, and you know that I agree with you for the most part. And sometimes when I'm asking things, it's for clarification.
Oh no, I know,
Yeah.
Aki. I know.
Oh,
No, I
cheers,
know.
buddy.
I'm not saying you disagree. I just want the audience to hear so they can see what's going on. So we got to be very careful because some of this shit in the Levant had some layers that was already ancestral branches that come out of North Africa. The Levant don't really change until the Chalcolithic period, when that
Yeah.
J started to dominate in the Bronze Age. That's what people not ready for.
I want to show them this right here. Where it say where it's look, it say two primary groupings of communities arose 15,000 BCE among the descendants of Proto-Afrasians. They say one of these, the Southern Afrasians, they talking about the Proto-Amata groups, Southern Afrasians, established themselves in both central and southern parts of Ethiopian highlands. And it say the early Southern Afrasian, it can be proposed adapted practices of wild grain collection to cooler grasslands of the region. They say just one South Afrasian group, the Amadic languages of the Southern Highlands are still spoken today. They say other Southern Afrasians were formerly spoken in Northern Highlands. Look, it's a Southern Afrasian languages were formerly spoken in Northern Highlands, but these have all died out. That's because it became the Eritrea niggas. Look, right here, look, the second primary branch of Afrasians, the Eritreites, inhabited lands that probably lay in the northern Ethiopian highlands and may have existed north into the southern Red Sea hills. That's because y'all niggas was fucking with them basil raisins around the Arabian Peninsula. You know what I'm saying? And it say around 15,000 BCE, the northern Eritreite communities began moving into areas along the Egyptian Nile, the signal of the arrival of those appearance of the new tool in archaeological Egypt, a small crescent-shaped stone blade used in the harvesting of grain. You know what I'm saying? That's even on the, you know what I'm saying? Even on the hunter-gatherer level, y'all was grain collecting using these particular tools and shit.
Yeah, Gala, as you say that, the thing is, this is like a lot of, this is, I would say, a lot of information for the average person. When you're reading it right now, I will say the fact that you directed me to it, the fact that I have a personal experience with it, I understand it. But what I'm going to say is this, sometimes when people hear this, they're going to look at it as like, oh, the Afro-Asiatics, East Africa, and they start to think that that is, let's say the origins is East Africa, right? They start to think that that is the parent of North Africa, where I say the nuances are a little bit difficult to understand unless you truly understand with a unbiased lens. So therefore,
No.
so therefore, the Egyptian language is not younger than the East African Afro-Asiatic language, and at times it's older than the East African language, the region that it came from, as an Afro-Asiatic language. Like when you say it died out, there's evolution of languages that happens. They don't understand the nuances that happens. So they think that since the language is primarily there and originated there, that North Africans are, let's say, younger or not the origins.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they also got to understand, like at one time, further north in Egypt was swamp. So a lot of the earlier fossils in anthropology is found in Upper Egypt and North Sudan, from the Halflings and the Civilians, the tools, the flint tools, all that's found up there. And not to mention, following the phylogenetic tree in the trail, EV68 gave rise to EM78, which gave rise to the different clades of EV22 and EV12 and EV32. So, you know, they never left. What they accumulated, what they adjusted to, what they adapted to, what they received, it all happened within populations right there, and nobody can take that away from those people. So it's not a age range between the groups. It's just that the Somali people retain a lot of the original features that used to be in the north, compared to the other people that kind of went through later shifts, through sexual selection, parallel evolutionary shifts, and different things. Compared to
Yeah.
you guys had a genetic retention or morphological retention that you were able to preserve because you went back south or near the Red Sea when you went back south, and you accumulated a lot of traits from the earlier cousins that split north very long ago, before, without the later admixture, even though they went through some changes and integrated with some people that crossed through Yemen and hit Eritrea. But you guys was even, when you went further, you were able to mix with the population that those people split from, ancestral East African groups.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with you, Ngozi. What I was trying to say is that you get this, but sometimes some people they don't get it. And what I'm trying to say is we are not the parent of North Africans, even though we live in the land right now that maybe the language came from.
Well, I can't say I can't say you not.
I'll say Moda, I'll say Hadza like populations are, and I'll say that Moda,
Yeah.
pre-Moda, is the forefather of because ancestral North Africans came from ancestral East Africans who were pre-Moda like, and pre-Moda
Yeah.
like is Hadza like. That's a fact.
Yeah, I'm saying you gotta be. I'm saying you gotta be careful with that too, because you know what I'm saying. North Africa got multiple parents. You know what I'm saying. It ain't just one parent. You know what I'm saying. Them E3B markers is definitely a parent that was Cushitic like when it migrated up there. You know what I'm saying. It was like even Christopher Everett, he called it the North Eritrea branches. You know what I'm saying.
Yep. And those northern Eritrea branches at base root is Moda. That's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
and Moda is Omatic.
The Mushibian niggas, them niggas with some mixed, you know what I'm saying, cousins, Somali like to some Somali like niggas. You know what I'm saying? And mixed with some
Exactly.
Iberian Marusian motherfuckers. They spread them niggas spread them E3B markers amongst them Iberian Marusian groups. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
No,
Yep.
I hope you guys see what I'm trying to say. Like when you say Somali, like the like part is what I want emphasis
Yes.
on. I
Yes.
don't want the
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Somali
yeah.
part emphasis on so that people can understand there's nuances
No,
to
no,
this.
not contemporary Somali, of
Yeah,
course.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
not
Yeah,
definitely
modern
nuances.
populations. Yeah,
Yes.
not the
It's
modern
definitely nuance.
populations.
Not the modern. No, not the
Yeah,
modern
yeah.
populations, everybody.
yeah.
There is nuances. We're not saying they were
But if you
Somali. We said Somali like.
but if you went into a time machine, this is like saying the same thing when they talk about the monkey shit. Where they say, oh, humans don't come from monkeys. But if you go into a time machine to that ancestor, you seen that ancestor, you saw that's a monkey right there. If you
Yeah,
went to that
great ape.
time, when you went to the time machine and seen them North Red Sea motherfuckers going into Egypt in the Nile Valley with that EM78, them niggas will you like these niggas look like Somalians and a Romo motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
They look like, but not them
Yeah, not
exactly
yeah.
modern wise. That's why I
No,
thought that
no.
Gala, where I'm coming from right now, you're gonna understand this. That Robert presentation.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Hell no, bro.
yeah.
Don't use me to disqualify my African brothers.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah. He was wild. He don't understand that Cushitic people got gene flow from the Melodic people anyway. And they got, you know what I'm saying? Of course, they got inherited shit. Still got shit that trace they inherit from Mota type shit in the first place anyway, too.
He doesn't even understand the fact that there was like the thing is people who disagree with the fact there was a Bantu expansion, my mind is blown. I'm like, that dynamically changed Central and some parts of East Africa and Southern Africa. So if you don't agree with it, then you not understand the population groups of the the recent migrations, let alone the ancient migrations that have happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wasn't disagreeing with you guys. I just want to make sure that people who are listening that they don't use certain people to disqualify others in the area.
Oh yeah.
No, we not. No, we definitely, and we still think that modern Egyptians, in the inception of dynastic period, are closer to those people than anybody. So we're not saying modern Egyptians are not Egyptians. We're not stealing their culture and identity. They completely are.
You're not, but like you guys said, you both know that I'm cool with you guys. You know I'm a gamer, and you guys know that I've dabbed in that live stream arena where I actually when I'm playing a game, I interact with chat and I pay attention to every detail. So when I'm hanging out with you guys and I'm even in the conversation with you, I'm paying attention to chat. So I multitask. And right now, when I see Sarah Ross saying Gozi agrees with me that Greeks and Romans, they all say ancient Egyptians were black. I'm just like, excuse me? Like,
What?
do you know what I mean? I interact with these guys and I learn from these guys. And at the same time, I'm from Africa and I'm saying, let's not be pseudo. But you're coming in here telling the people I learned from agree with you who are trying to be biased and disqualify people from the region.
No. Modern Egyptians are closer to dynastic Egyptians more than anybody. They range in skin color
Yeah, right. Yeah.
from reddish brown to dark, like they do today. That black category, I wouldn't play that game with people in Egypt. I mean, if you would have talked to me 12 years ago, I would have said a black population like everybody, something like Bija or Cushitic, Bija like. But overall, I never denied admixture. Even the show I did, I think 14 years ago, 12 years ago, I was talking. I never excluded or separated the admixed group. Like I even said, like the Coptics is close to them, or I said stuff like they're mixed, but I never denied the modern population from being them, even with their mixture. Those people been mixed. They
Yeah,
started
been
off
mixed.
mixed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and they also do share layers of their DNA with Somali, but they're not Somali. It's something that's old that they all shared before going into their own direction. Somali have their own identity, their own background, their own history. Egyptians have their own. So no, I wouldn't play that black and white game, regardless to what they look like. Uh, with Egyptians, the modern Egyptians are the ancient Egyptians. That's their history. That's That's their portion of Africa.
When it comes to the scientific point of view, and Ngozi, I learned from you. When it comes to the material culture, Gala, I learned from you. Um, but I will say this, being from the region, when I look at Egyptians, I always looked at them as my brothers, but I didn't look at them as myself, if that makes sense. And when you look at geopolitical wise, when colonization happened and Somalia was colonized and when people were fighting for their freedom, Egypt was one of the first countries that got their freedom. And when we were fighting for our own freedom in order to become, let's say, decolonized, we asked for Egypt to be the custodian in order for us to be released from Europeans' hands. And that was allowed. And Egypt took over and gave us our freedom. So therefore, I'm always going to fight for them because when it came to Somalia and the freedom when it came to colonization from European lens, they fought for us at the same time, even though it was a geopolitical move.
The people don't know the Egyptians always had close relations with the Horn. They used to like even a Coptic church. The first Coptic church, people
That's
like
what I'm just gonna say. Yeah.
yeah, the first Coptic church, people like to say it was Ethiopia. No, the oldest Coptic church is Ethiopia and Armenia. But the Egyptians had the oldest Coptic church, and they were sending priests
This one the
down there a long
patriarch, bro.
time ago.
That's what I'm gonna show. Look, bro, hold on. Let me show you this priest, bro. Hold
So
on.
hold on, go before you go there. Even
Yeah, go
before
ahead.
the
Go ahead. Go ahead while I'm looking up.
even before the Coptic phase, no Egyptians always had a connection with the Horn. Even with ancient Punt that was in between Eritrea, they was trading with those people near the Horn. Even before the peopling groups that diverged from them, like it's all Egyptians never denied. Only until now politically, but they never denied being from that region. Afro-Asiatic people always had a network with each other. Even some of the Egyptians had trade networks with populations in Chad who also speak Afro-Asiatic. People don't know the history of Afro-Asiatic people linguistically and culturally, but a lot of the priests from the Coptic Church in that phase, they was networking with people in the Horn. Matter of fact, I just found out that Ethiopia This is the bad. This is the bad. So Ethiopia beat Egypt a few times. People don't even talk about that. It's been a love-hate relationship with these people for a long time. But in Somalia, like my brother said, Egypt did help Somalia for their independence. So people can't play that game.
And goes, you see this punt. I agree with you when you say Eritrea and the baboon stuff, but at the same time, I will say it extended all the way to North Somalia. So therefore, I can't claim freaking punt. So the person who's in chat trying to say that I'm flip-flopping, punt, I'm from the damn land.
And punt wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Punt was a general term. Like you had different king, like really in reality, if you was out on the ground, you had different kingdoms and chieftains and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like punt was
Yeah,
more
yes,
like an imperial type of thing. You know what
and
I'm saying?
yes, and
You had
and
different
punt
kingdoms and shit.
and punt was like he stated, and like Gullah stated, punt was from Eritrea to northern Somalia. So that's a fact. Those are the
To a
same people
duelist,
in
yeah,
group.
to a duelist and Zila. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you got to be tricking the early dynasty. You find some people call it punt. I don't know. Punt has a meaning to it because some people have seen punt in certain parts of the Levant, and then
Yeah,
in another
Levant
place
too. Yeah.
when they had a
Yeah.
punt that was in Yemen in some layers. So
It means something. It's like I forgot what it means, man. It means something. Like it
it
ain't
means something.
yeah.
Punt to me means onsi. Onsi means pon, like bun, like onsi. Sufi, I don't know how to say this. You know some Somali people. Ask them what bun means. Bun,
Hmm.
okay?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like that's all I'm gonna say. Like, what does bun mean? Onsi.
What coffee?
No, it's what do you call it? The the stuff that you incense, what you
It's the
burn,
no, it's frankincense. I mean frankincense, incense.
frankincense.
It's frankincense.
Yeah,
Won't say it's frankincense, but again, they already shared again between the horn,
That's why they call Habesha people Habesha because of the Frank
the fragrance.
because of the incense, the people of incense. Shit.
But even the thing is between the Levant again, certain parts of Yemen, northern Somalia to Eritrea, that circle was already having a strong genetic affinity and cultural exchange or cultural affinity, similarity for a very long time, for a very long time until the Chalcolithic. So yeah, I agree with you 1,000,000%. Awa Sonic, 1,000,000%.
yeah, respect. Before our brother reads this, um, Black Alchemy, he attacked me with this on another channel earlier tonight. What about the Himba people, Amir? Aren't they North Africans? Aren't the Himba people South African tribe?
Yeah, the
The
Himba.
the Himba, they paint themselves red. They no, they're
And
not North
Bantu, and
African.
Bantu.
They them Bantu people. Who said they was North Africans? Who said that?
Black Alchemy. He attacked me earlier tonight, and I started laughing. I'm just
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
left it alone. I'm like, I'm not gonna respond to you this. Let this simmer in chat because sometimes you can't respond to certain people.
Their ancestry came from further north, but they're not North Africans. You know?
And we have to be very careful when they say North. What Gullah means by that for the audience, they came from further north from where they are, but they didn't come from north like Morocco. Algeria. They came from further
Yeah,
north towards Cameroon, still within the bracket of sub-Saharan Africa. So they're
yeah,
not talking about north like Egypt and all that.
yeah,
See,
yeah. They ain't talking about North Africa, no. Hell no, they ain't talking about, they ain't talking about no Mediterranean.
yeah. So see, when people hear north, especially coming from where they at now, they thinking, oh, they come from me. No, they're talking about north from where they are near Cameroon, where all Bantu start to expand from.
Yeah,
I,
even where Bantu ancestors come from, they weren't even that further north. They was in South Central Sahara. You know what I'm
Correct,
saying?
correct,
I
correct.
appreciate that. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You might have like a few, a few that leaked in up north that went into the gene pool majority that leaked in and shit. Like even the Haratines, some of the Haratine people been there for a long time. They were just a little enclave of, you know what I'm saying, Niger Congo, Mindy like people that was just always just been there lingering around, living amongst Berbers and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I gotta go, but I'll listen in because I gotta wake up in about an hour and a half.
No, no, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
was
We
just
can.
showing I was just showing this real quick. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna shut off too after this. I was
No.
just showing this real quick. Bona Themos, what we talking about? Look, was a Coptic priest from Egypt. He came to Ethiopia in 1881, becoming the bishop of Sheba under the king Sal's Miriam. I'm just showing you how he looked. You know what I'm saying? He from Egypt. You know what I'm saying? He an Ethiopian priest. He went to Ethiopia. You can't even tell him
He
apart
look,
from the corner.
yeah, he looked like some of those priests in Lalibela.
Yeah.
Shit, damn, fuck, it's crazy. What the fuck? It's
And closes.
crazy.
A straight up Egyptian. A straight up Egyptian. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, hey, girl, I got a screenshot. This is dope. Like this is crazy. This dude, he look like he in Lalibela. What the fuck?
Yeah, he went
Wow,
down there. He went down there and became the priest.
damn, this
And
is
he,
dope.
look, he said, when Sahel Miriam is Menelik II, became emperor of Ethiopia under the general name Menelik II in 1889. Matthios then became Archbishop of Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church until his death. So during the time Menelik II, the Archbishop of the Ethiopian Church was the Egyptian nigga.
Wow, this killed the game, right?
Y'all make me laugh and teach me at the same time. It's rare. Thank you.
Hey, Gullo, this a wrap right here. This just killed the game. This is dope.
Hold on, look at the patriarch. Look at the patriarch of the Coptic Church today. Of Coptic Church. That nigga look like a Bija. He like a Cushitic nigga, but he Egyptian. A Coptic.
Oh yeah,
Look at him. Hold on. This the dude.
I'll be in
damn.
chat. I'll be in
His
chat
name
as like,
is two of not this one right here. His name Tewardros. Theodore. This dude.
His nose big as hell.
You look at him. He look like
Yeah, he definitely looked like the people down there on the horn. Look at his hand. Look at his face.
yeah. If Haile Selassie took his ass to Egypt or somewhere, they'd think he Egyptian.
I definitely agree. This is crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
these
is
niggas
crazy.
still got horner features pop in and out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look at the people in Minion though, Gullah.
Oh yeah, the people in I seen them.
People of Luxor, the people still they look crazy.
Hmm.
I sent my brother Awa Sonic a picture of a Horner and an Egyptian man.
Oh, you talking about the EV13 and the other
Yeah,
shit? Yeah, I
yeah,
got the
dude.
shit. Yeah, that shit wild. Them niggas like they had a family reunion.
That shit crazy, man. It's good hearing you though, bro, Gullah, man. I'm gonna and when you have your next show, man, I'm definitely gonna jump on, man. And
Yeah, I'm slide off too, man. This is my birthday weekend, man. That's why I did it on Friday. Cause
oh,
I'm
it's your,
kicking it tomorrow. My
you a
birthday was
tourist?
yesterday.
You a
Yeah,
tourist? Oh shit! Happy birthday, bro! What the
right on,
fuck?
dog.
Oh, I know you could have a ball. And you in Texas?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, bro, you could have a ball, man,
yeah.
Joe.
I'm going to this little Afro beat spot tomorrow, Zaza Lounge with my Nigerian homeboy. We finna kick it.
Oh, that's what's happening, man. See, you living it up, King. Well,
Yeah,
enjoy that, King. Enjoy your birthday. Happy beloved birthday, and I hope the family doing good, and your wife and everybody, man. And hope everything
yeah,
going good, man.
yeah, for sure, man. Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
man.
but I'm gonna keep in contact, brother. So whenever you have your next show, we gonna ride.
Oh yeah, I'm on a journey right now. Look, I just did this show, you know, because it's my B day, but my last show, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but I've been doing the Bantu expansions. I've been
No,
doing I've been doing a series on this shit.
oh, I need to. Yeah, I wanna tune in and catch up. I know you've been killing me. I know you know your shit on
Yeah,
that. So
I'm on the Eastern Bantus right now. I'm breaking down the lake how the Eastern Bantus broke off from the Lake Bantus, and how the Lake Bantus branched off from the Savannah Bantus and shit. You know what I'm saying?
oh, you teaching our direct history.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Shit. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. We gonna I'm gonna tune into that.
All right, bro.
All right, King. Happy belated birthday.
All right, right on, bro.
Peace.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
All right,
Peace.
love to the